election 2020.
Yeah.
We made it. We made it.
City Level speech.
Right.
It's about to be a real night, y'all. But excited. So I want to first start off with Tabitha. Happy birthday. You are fantastic.
It's your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Black woman magic, like doing it, always doing it, always doing it. Tabitha Robinson Scott. I was like, our favorite little brother, Stephen Moscos.
Hello.
Damian Michael Williams, welcome.
Yeah.
So, I was like, of course, our Grand Duchess Diva. It's Decision 2020. She may show, she may not. We don't know. We'll see what happens with Dwayne.
You know, always passively late, honey.
He's a swing state.
Yeah,
I was like, Jeff,
he's always on time. I mean,
right.
Hey.
I said, Jeff, since his love, he is in the middle of taking a mental health day. This is completely stressed him out. He has left Instagram. Like he was like he needed to just take a complete mental health. I think probably week. I don't know what's gonna happen. But this has already been like the weekend into the week has been crazy. But starting off with some really great things that happened on yesterday, our own Damian Michaels launched his premiere first episode of RG.
Hey.
Grateful and Blessed.
Yeah.
I was like, it was so much fun. I don't know if you guys got to tune in. I got to tune in to see it. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it after your first show, Damian?
I feel overwhelmed, actually, because it was, to see something manifest in the midst of all of this, anything from the least to the greatest, that's a joy for me. That's a blessing. So, yeah, I was just elated and just honored to do it. And, it's only going to get better and better, So, yeah, I was very excited. Of course, being able to be myself, with a good thick sliver of ratchet. And also mainly doing one of the things that I was created, called, and destined to do, and that's inspire and encourage and uplift all of mankind. So that's my life joy. So it was, 5 stars all around for me. A great experience. Had a great guest host, and we talked about, world events and the issues of the world, and as well as our community as a whole. So we touched on a lot of things, so I was like, I like this. So yeah, all thumbs up, and thank you.
Well, that is what's up. And I was like, we're just gonna let you guys keep on.
Hey. Indeed. Well, I'll start off with this word, and the word is hope. Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, like we're desiring and hoping and praying for something to happen tonight. Like, oh, please. But that was the word that has been standing out to me, even in the midst of all of my high anxiety, because, I've been in and out of CNN and MSNBC and doing my research, and just, please, anybody, go vote. I think I voted 2,500 votes. But, I just, that's something we need to hold on to, is hope. No matter how anything and everything turns out, hope. Things can always change. So, my brother from another mother, Stephen, how are you, brother?
I'm going to, you know what? Election anxiety, we'll put it aside.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm feeling election anxiety,
Yeah.
Welcome. We don't know. But then, one of the things that today I just wanted to do was, I was like, what's something I can do today to help? And I know some people that are text banking and things like that. And what I just felt like I wanted to do was go down to the polling site that is my polling site, and make sure that they had like food and water and stuff. So went in, checked in to make sure that they could accept it, because I was like, if it, not only is it a pandemic, but also like anything with election rules, in terms of what you can give them, what they can accept, who knows. But they were like, if you want to do it, do your thing. And so I like went to the grocery store and got a bunch of food, got a bunch of different like drinks and stuff. And I don't know. It felt good to like be doing something that like someone who was helping was also being helped. I don't know. Felt good.
Yeah. So, being helpful is always a great something to do that takes your mind off of the negative.
Right. Especially if you can find a way that's like tangible in the moment. Yeah.
Right. Indeed. Also, the queen of our family, our show, and of the day. It's her birthday. Hey! Queen Tabitha, how are you, love?
I'm doing better than I expected to.
Okay. That's a plus.
Today with the Mercury retrograde falling off and the asteroid not hitting the planet today.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on the cusp of greatness. So I'm hopeful, as you say.
Yeah.
I cleaned my entire house today because I made a very conscious decision to not watch anything related to the election until later on this evening.
Right.
I prepared myself a very heartwarming meal, and so I'm just trying to practice a lot of self-care today. And the one thing I'm really happy about is I checked in with a bunch of my friends just to remind them that I love them and that we're in this together, and to connect and make sure that we start to build that community so that we're prepared, good or bad or in between, for the outcome. So it was nice to have some conversations that I really wanted to have. And, I checked in with my boys. They both voted.
Yay.
There you go.
Yeah, boys.
My youngest, who has always been a champion of advocacy, was helping his friends out, taking them to the polls and driving back and forth. He stood in line for a little old lady while she sat in his car.
Oh, man.
And was a placeholder for her because he was like, you do not need to stand in this line. I will stand in line for you when it's time for you to go in. So, good things like that. So I'm very proud of my humans.
Yeah. Awesome. And Tabitha, we want we love and appreciate you too. We think the world of you. You make a difference here at City Love Speaks, and we appreciate your being here. And we celebrate you. Happy birthday!
Yay!
Indeed.
Thank you.
And to CEO and captain of the ship, Dre. What it do, fellow king?
Oh my God! So, it has been crazy, and I'm gonna say I did like Tabitha. I woke up. I woke up this morning in the check-in with people I cared about, because everyone that I knew had already voted, and so that was just, did you call your other three people, your other three assigned people, to make sure that they voted?
Right.
Did that. And then some friends of mine, with this great charity that I work with out of Ohio and Chicago and here in New York City. So us at City Love Speaks, because I was not going to go out and stand in line and hold on, or I would have worked the polls, but I didn't want to put myself at any more risk of getting COVID because I have pre-existing condition that does not allow me to do a whole lot of stuff. So it was like, what can we do? What can I do? What can us as the show do? Whatever. And so everybody knows Grippos is one of my favorite barbecue potato chips ever in the world. So we sent out, City Love Speaks sent out 500 bags to each poll in the county that I grew up in, as well as here in the Bronx and in Chicago. So really super, super excited about that. and was glad to see other of my friends doing the same thing. Jacobs and Atlanta, him and a group of friends they all have like small businesses together, got together and made care packages for people standing in line of water and chips and
awesome.
So it was like, this has really been, I think, putting work and effort into taking it off of you.
Yes.
Has, I think, made this a lot better across the board. It has been a little frightening, I think, even because I got a few like messages about my posts are frightening people, and I was like, really good. Like, it was, because I'm like, I think anyone that has spent 30 seconds with me knows that my heart is always about your safety as a priority and making sure that you're good before I even think that I'm good. And it's just really important that that you have a post-election safety plan. And it's just smart. Just because you have the plan doesn't mean you have to use the plan.
Right.
The problem is, if you don't have a plan, then what are you going to do?
Then you can't use it. Yeah.
Because the cities are kind of edging you on for there to be civil unrest on either side, because like, you can't go, well, in any of the white communities, you can't go anywhere without everything boarded up.
Right.
Now, what I'm going to say is, where I live in New York City, it's just too many Black and Spanish people. Ain't nothing boarded up. Like, not one thing is boarded up or has been boarded up. You know, they have not changed their hours of anything. None of that has happened, because I really think, you know, where I live, they are very, I wish a Proud Boy would. I think they should probably make a Bronx t-shirt. Because they're not here for it. They're not here for it, because after, you know, the Black Lives Matter protests and people were vandalizing, and it was not the people in the community.
Right.
Large members of the community.
Let's talk about that.
Started just checking people hard.
Right.
And especially here in my neighborhood, when COVID went down, I had never been so glad that I had went and joined in at and went to the stores in my neighborhood, because they weren't letting nobody buy nothing if you wasn't from the neighborhood.
Wow.
They were like, nope, you can't buy. Nope, it was white people showing up out of nowhere up here. They were like, nope, you can't buy toilet paper. Nope, you can't buy these Lysol wrap. Like, they meant it hard. They put them out the store. It was like, just our community only.
Right.
So it's been crazy and good. Glad that we do have somewhat of a distraction. Tabitha's birthday has been a great distraction for me.
Yes.
I can honestly say.
Glad I could provide.
And which made it even better, because you know, you, one of my best friends in the world, his birthday is on the same day as yours. My baby brother's birthday was yesterday. Like, Damien's birthday is on the 26th, which is the same day as my grandfather's birthday, which I thought that was really hilarious. So
felt my groove right quick.
So it's like a whole, I'm nervous and happy all at the same time.
Okay, Dre, before I fully hand this back over to you, I feel the need to do this. Everyone, right quick, close your eyes and just clear your mind. And the only thing that I request or desire for you to have in your mind are these words: all is well. I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to say it together. 1, 2, 3. All is well. Inhale. Exhale. Now, let's carry on. Let's do this.
Woo!
All is well. All is well.
So, we are here.
Yeah.
Decision 2020.
Mm-hmm. We here.
I don't think I need to ask any of y'all who y'all voted for.
I'm still waiting for a few more of those weird text messages, emails, and commercials to really decide.
Really?
Yeah, me too. I've been getting them all day.
I'm just not there yet.
Personally, I'm just not comfortable telling you who I vote for. You know.
Okay. I was just like, okay, so right now in the road to 270 electoral votes, Biden is up 51 to Trump's 42. They just caught West Virginia for Trump. So throughout the show, we will be letting you know what we see and what you see. If you guys want to join in the conversation with us, leave us comments. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And that way you can put in comments that we will answer your questions and have you join in the conversation with us tonight. Because we're really here for you guys. More than anything tonight. We don't have like a strenuous, like crazy show. This is just going to be us really just shoot the shit and have a good time and cheers. Happy birthday, Tabitha.
Cheers. Happy birthday, Tabitha. Yay.
All throughout the film. Here for it all. Here for it all.
Mm-hmm. Pinkies up. Yeah.
We're literally here for it all on that. So Steven this week decided he was gonna try.
Lord. I live, near, a certain caliber of people, but hey, it's all good.
I'm like, so
Steven, we did Borat subsequent movie film delivery of prodigious bribe to American regime for make benefit once glorious nation of Kazakhstan, also known as Borat 2. They made the new movie for Amazon. It was receiving a lot of press prior to its release because of potentially a very conspicuous scene with Giuliani, which we're going to talk about. But yeah, basically, Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat. He's been in a prison camp since the previous Borat. He then is contacted by his government to return to America, bringing their cultural ambassador / number one adult film star, a monkey named Johnny, to America to meet Mike Pence. But instead, his daughter stows away, eating the monkey, and he decides to give his daughter as a gift to Mike Pence. So they have
exactly how I feel about that right there.
Give her a makeover, and then when she learns that many things that she's been taught about women are not true, that they don't have to live outside, that that it's not against the law for them to eat cakes, that they can drive cars without the Titanic sinking, that she runs away, and he decides to he ends up staying with some QAnon people in Washington, and then when he sees that she's working for this media company, he decides he's going to try to give her to Giuliani, and infamous scene, ... And then eventually they realize, as the coronavirus is bearing down and he's failed and he's been brought back to his country to be executed, that the Kazakhstan government actually gave him the virus, sending him around the country, and he is patient zero of COVID-19. And when they realize that, they blackmail the government into changing their laws to be more progressive towards women, and he becomes a father-daughter journalist team. So let's talk about it. All right. Okay. Let's, All right, now Tabitha, let's start with you, birthday girl. Let's do this.
Yay!
Steven, I'm so mad at you.
So mad. So mad.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I might have cursed at you.
Okay, all right. Question number one. You know, everyone can answer simultaneously. Who saw Borat number 1? And did we hate that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you have a second thing to hate. Okay. Continue, Tabitha.
Well, I mean, I knew what I was getting into because I'm very familiar with the Borat character, unfortunately, thanks to my husband. And so I was.
Did you say with your cousin?
With my ex-husband.
Your ex-husband. Oh.
That's his level of humor. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Sorry.
So, as I was starting it, I was trying to mentally prepare, but every time, like the cage part, I was just like, "Am I really gonna watch this? Am I really gonna follow through?" And then the cake thing. But once we got to the abortion thing, I was like, that's when I cursed at you. I'm not going to lie. And then I was like, it's not his fault. He didn't make the movie. He just selected it for this week. So then I just left it on as I carried about the rest of my day and did other activities. So it wasn't the primary focus of my intention. But that kind of crass over the top, I don't know. There's something, it's not my thing. And I know there are people that love it. And I know there are people that thought it was hilarious that he took such a thing like coronavirus and turned it into this whole other thing and gifting to Mike Pence. And yeah, I think that's funny. But I also think it's funny to donate to Planned Parenthood in Mike Pence's name, which I do every month. Because then he gets a thank you note from Planned Parenthood, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody write that down.
Write that down.
Duly noted.
And if you do it during the holiday season, they send you stickers and gifts, and it comes in a big old pink package, so you can't miss it.
Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of funniness I like. But this movie was hard to get through.
Well, Damien.
Stephen, I have to say, I really thought we were friends and brothers. But clearly, after watching this movie,
every time I pick
clearly, after watching this movie, I'm like, he hates me. He has to just hate me. He can't love me. He hates me. So I was, going through the process of, baby girl in a little barn cage, in the back, and the whole just total lopsided mentality, supposedly humor, Stephen. And then, we get to that part, which really just was like, what the? When, she was afraid to touch herself because her papa told her if she touched herself, she was going to swallow her up. I said, what? Oh. And then, of course, the scene with the black lady that, wound up being her babysitter. Now that part was kind of a cackle. Slightly. I was still cussing you out. I was cussing you out the entire movie. I didn't even wait. I didn't wait till a certain part.
It's good. This is a dialogue.
I'm like,
This is how this works.
What's going on with you? Why are you doing this? I'm like, okay. So when it got to that part, and of course, the babysitter is a black woman, African American queen, and she's looking at her like, and him like, okay, and you want me to do what? And that's one of the reasons why I love our black queens, because they have a natural nurture and motherhood in them. And she immediately pursued to take her along and like, no, baby, what your daddy told you, I know you love him, but all of that is a lie. That's a non-truth. But even with that, by the time I got to the end, I kept checking and say, how long do I have for this movie? Okay.
Amen.
30, right. 30, 5 minutes. Huh? Okay. Yeah. So after I finally got through it, I had a whole long list of choice words to use. But I just I had to drink something. I had to take a strong I had to drink it down and let it swoosh it away. Hey, but yeah, I still love you, Stephen, even though I think you hate me. But yeah. So that's how I felt about that. Yeah, thumbs down. But hey, we love you though.
Mm-hmm. Fair. Dre.
It was the silence, right?
So I am not one to really at all enjoy like stupid movies that are marketed as stupid movies. I'm never drawn to them. Is why I never watched the first Borat. I've never seen that the Bad Grandpa thing movie.
Right.
Never seen that. Never saw any of those the stupid one where they were doing all those stunts and donkey something or whatever.
Jackass.
Yeah. Not 1, 2, 3, none of them. I'm going no, because I feel like they would make me stupid, so I don't watch them. And I was watching this and slowly feeling brain cells die throughout the whole process. And I was just like, why does Stephen do this to me? What? And then at one point, I literally paused it, made a cocktail, and posted.
Cheers.
The cocktail, and was like, what did I do to you, Stephen?
Is this around the time the tweet that I saw your tweet?
And I tweeted
you.
Clink. Because I'm not gonna lie, I felt the way, and I was like, "What did I do to you to make you?"
Too.
Everyone's always feeling with Steve.
Literally suffer. I was like, I said, "Is this penance? Is this?"
This punishment?
Is this Catholicism at work where they would go so that they could be truly blessed that you had of anything? And I felt like the penance of the Catholic Church. I felt like St. Andrew, and when I need to suffer through.
Hail Mary, Mother of Grace, all of those.
Right, so that we can win this election. I was like, maybe there has to be a rhyme to this reason. And Stephen's response to me on Twitter was,
we're gonna need
the break. We needed the break.
We need levity. What are we gonna do? We want to do the trial of the Chicago 7. What are we gonna do? Yeah, man, it's been going on for 50 years. It's all terrible. Nothing's changed. Oh, Jesus Christ! Just pack it up.
It was a little I was just like. So I was just like, okay. So I turned it back on and watched the rest of it.
You made it through.
I made it through. I am a trooper. When I say not never again.
Ever.
It was so painful.
I actually looked around. I live alone. Mm-hmm. I actually kept looking around to see if anybody was gonna see me watching it.
Yeah.
I kept checking up. You can't see anyone outside my window. It is a garden and a fence. But I was like, can anyone see that I'm watching this? Because they would think differently of me.
I literally feel just a twinge of shame. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just a twinge of shame. As a Black person, I'm like, I really sat here and watched this. I did it. No.
I don't think that there will be another one.
Oh, good. There will be another one. Yes.
Well, what I don't know is why. Yes, there will be another Sacha Baron Cohen movie. I don't know if there'll be another Borat movie because, one thing, it shows very early on, he's walking around and he's like, something that's changed is everyone's looking at calculators. Well, I was like, oh yeah, like smartphones weren't like proliferated in 2005 when he did the first movie. And so even just like how, even though I remember the movie coming out and it doesn't feel like life was as different back then, I was like, that is a huge difference. But I think something that comes with that is one, like a belief that someone with a film crew has limits, I think has really changed. And I think it's clear that it changed because of what people in the movie were willing to do. My understanding is the only time that he broke character was when he went to the synagogue. He explained to those women exactly what was happening. And that is my understanding. That's the only time that he revealed that he was Sacha Baron Cohen. But he's something that he made the first movie. He said he wanted to like expose an underbelly of racism and sexism in America that was not being discussed. And then he said that for this one, what he wanted to do was show that, like, with the divisiveness, that there are so many people who are very kind, but for reasons they're misinformed. Like the two QAnon men that took him in and let him stay with them when the town went on lockdown. Like, all that was real. They started filming in February. There was no COVID happening in the US when they were starting to do all this. And so it was about, starting to see that about trying to, bridge more gaps. But I think that we're shocked by so little now. There's little comedic value in watching people go along with it. Because you're not watching anybody hide anything. Right. When he asks a baker to pipe, Jews will not replace us with smiley faces, she just pops right into doing it. And that's why it's like, I don't know that they'll make another one because I feel like it's only funny if there's some kind of like
satire to it.
Yeah, or reticence to be doing any of it. Like, it just shows that, like, it's like the difference between making fun of, we're kind of talking about it with like Joe Biden and Trump when we talk about SNL, but like, because we're so inundated with like politics that are like, I guess they call it doom scrolling, and that everything that his quotes themselves are ludicrous and absurd, that jokes about it aren't funny. And so I think that this movie, it just wasn't that funny because it was, it's become what watching the political sketches on SNL are. It's just like another one.
Honestly, Stephen, right now, when you look at where we are right now in this world, everything is way too tender. Because usually, whether it's SNL or whomever, a regular, well-known comedian or whoever makes a joke about it, and you had your great percentage that laughed at it, then you have the other ones, oh, it's not funny, but this time everything is very tender, it's very touchy. And just as you stated earlier, to see her go along with that, the Jews will not replace us with a smiley face. I was like, that was one of the times I was like, yeah, I had choice words. Because it was just like, really? You're just easy peasy flowing with this.
Well, now, I'm going to say, when that happened in the movie was the moment I said, oh, there's going to be another one. And because all I saw, and I'm going to be very angry that I'm even going to give the idea of the third one, but the death of the Karens is happening. Like, they're going into hiding. He literally can make a whole movie about the Karens and the Kevins when Biden and Kamala take over, where the Karens and the Kevins are going to kind of be like the people from where he's from, in these little small towns and whatever, really trying to hold on to their value of racism. And it's like dying. There's still premise for there to be a Borat 3, sadly. But so when she did the smiley face with it, I was like, oh, well, this is going to be the third movie, because there does have to be a reckoning of it. He makes more money off of making fun of the obvious. And he would be able to get so many Karens and Kevins to just go buck on camera so easily. Where I think this movie, it didn't happen as well, because I thought it was funny how when he came back to the United States, people started recognizing him and wanted to give him $1 for an autograph or whatever. And he was just like trying not to be famous, which I thought was hilarious.
Right.
But I still feel like a little dumb after watching it. Just not gonna lie. Like, I felt like literally right after I watched it, I watched 537 Votes, the documentary, just so that I could get back to my life.
That show is like, yo.
We're giving Sasha another go next week with Aaron Sorkin, so it's all going to be all right.
Well, and Aaron Sorkin, I saw.
I mean, it ain't all going to be all right. I'm sure there's going to be problems.
Well, no, it's not even that it's going to be all right. What me and Damien had like a private conversation about this earlier last week. About like after we had the conversation about the witches, and all of these remakes or all of these retelling of the stories with these big name actors that aren't required to give a big name performance, where it's just the big name, and these performances are so very mediocre. And it's like, where do you go from it? But then seeing the comments of This Is Us premiere, the 2-hour premiere of This Is Us, seeing those comments, I now kind of understand the mediocreness of it. Because for me, This Is Us was the best episode that they've ever had, because all of the things that you do have concern about when if you're a Black person and you know a Black person that was raised by a white family, there are questions that you have that you don't ever really get to answer, because you're just supposed to be so grateful that somebody took the child in and raised the child. And so you can't get past the not really preparing the child, or the child actually having to hide who they are to make the white people feel comfortable. I am not like emotional in that factor, where I was watching This Is Us, and when he was explaining to Kate on their 40th birthday that he has spent 40 years making them feel comfortable, I couldn't do anything but cry. It was hard because Kate isn't some white woman. Kate is his sister.
Right.
And it's like Kate is his sister. He already has the pressure of feeling like I'm the only one that's really trying to take care of our mother.
Literally, yeah.
Like, because y'all are so all wrapped up in what's going on with y'all that I really need to be the one in charge, taking care of her. And it was it was heavy, it was a lot, but it was good because it's conversations that need to really actually happen. And it makes his Black family relevant. Because he has a whole Black family with Black children, a Black adopted child, living in a Black community. This is completely out of his norm, where his wife is really Queen Bee, but not really, because she comes from a place of Black prestige. Her mother, her father was just a really hard worker, but her mother was like the school teacher, and she has a doctorate, and she's now a principal where the kids call her, doctor. They don't call her Miss Jones. It's like there's this prestigeness of her Blackness that separates her really from the hood to a degree. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And so now I kind of understand why we're getting these mediocre, doesn't matter performances from a lot of actors, because I think the goal has been, it doesn't matter, escapism. As long as I can get you thinking about something else, fine.
Right. I mean, I think the big, I think mediocre performances was right up there too with mediocre performances from the creative teams. Once they get those names attached, I've seen movies, that they get somebody attached to it, and then this is a horrifically underwritten film, but you got this person attached to it, and then your writer just closed his computer and called it a day. So yeah, that is
Ryan Murphy.
Oh, who said that?
Right.
Before we get away from this, I want to get away from this.
Before you go into that, let me just say really, really fast. So they just called Arkansas for Donald Trump. It is North Carolina is leaning towards Biden right now, but it's still too close to call. And sadly, Mitch McConnell will remain having his seat in Kentucky. So I just wanted to put.
I didn't understand.
Oh, the joy!
Right now, how bad is it? I just said it, and my phone just went. I don't quite understand that. My phone is not even for Mitch McConnell.
But just like what we were saying about the movies, the conversation that Dre and I had, and even as I shared when we talked about The Witches, I said, I'm just totally convinced that a lot of these babies that are doing and directing and producing these movies, as well as the actors, they've lost their sense of imagination. They've lost their sense of being able to tap in and to totally engulf themselves into the characters and to really possess it, in such a manner of excellence, but also making it pure. I'm a stern believer that we've lost that. I mean, because when as much as I love old school movies like Auntie Mame and the list goes on, Fancy Pants and Lady Sings the Blues, and I mean the list goes on. I'm a movie head. I could just go on and on. But even I'm also a big kid, so when you talk about The Dark Crystal and some of those other great movies that just gave us so much, they gave us hope as well as mystery, as well as fantasy, and all of those things. And I'm like, well, so when I watched The Witches and I was sharing with Dre, I watched some other things that have come out as of lately, and it's just like, where is it? Because by the end, when it comes to the end credits, I'm like, huh? It's over? This is where you stop. And you were okay with this? No. You missed the mark. So I strongly feel that way because that's why I was so highly disappointed with The Witches.
Do you feel that way about Lovecraft?
Lovecraft, I adore it.
See, I think I agree.
Because they go out of the box totally. Every episode is out of the box. And just when you think they're about to stay on a certain wavelength, they snatch you up and take you higher. And I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. So yeah, I adore Lovecraft Country. That is so amazing. The actors.
Mm-hmm. And it follows, unlike The Witches, it follows a very simple writing principle. If this is true, what else is true? That is very simple, but The Witches, as we noted in multiple instances, completely disregarded that. If this is true, what else is true? They said, well, this is true, but we're not going to explore anything of it. Yeah.
We're just going to give you this. Huh?
Right. We're just going to say we did it, and then you should.
Yeah, you're going to take it, you're going to eat it, you're going to love it. I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Right. Now, this will be the last thing we say because this is the only reason that I suggested the film is it was making several headlines because of a scene with Giuliani in which he understands himself to be interviewed by a young reporter, and the headlines up to before the release of the show was that he could be seen laying back on a bed with his hands in his pants. He was saying that he was tucking his shirt in. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm sorry, I don't follow that. No.
I mean,
well, no. How I saw it, and
is that how you tuck? Like, I'm asking the men. Is that how you tuck?
No, not at all.
Is that what y'all call it?
What I'm going to say is,
I mean, because when he tried that, I'm like, Rowan Sakala.
Now you do lay down just like women do to baby button your pants,
right?
But a pound or two.
To tuck in your shirt. What men normally do, and this is really like I'm gonna say, especially old men. This is what they do. They stand up, they pull everything down.
Mm-hmm.
They pull the shirt down, then they pull their underwear up over the shirt.
Right, they tuck it in their underwear.
Then pull the shirt down on the legs and underneath the butts. Then they bend back down so that way you get that little gafe. So when you pull your pants up, you already got that blousing that goes all the way around. So you don't have to touch it. That literally
it's tucked well. Yeah, right.
That's how they do it.
I may get in trouble, but I'm a big fan of unbuttoning the fly, hand in.
Right. Things, right? Everything
curtain for some.
Right. Even that only works when you're young. Old men are afraid that arthritis is gonna kick in, and then that hand gets stuck.
Yeah.
And then they can't pull it out in that little hole.
Oh no! Somebody
because the hand is like this,
right?
Going in, so the hand gets stuck. It get locked. So they gotta put that's a young man's game. Yeah, that's a young man's game. This way is a young man's game. With the hand and the thing, you still young. Glad you can reach, but when they get old, like him, I'm just saying.
Steven, I love you, brother. You all right with
me. when they get old, like Giuliani, they can barely fasten well.
And then plus, the mere fact that he has drooping parts and he hasn't stayed in shape, so he has to measure for all the extra.
And have you ever noticed that on old men's suits the pants don't button, they clasp?
Or sometimes they get, the elastic,
Right. Well, the elastic will be on the side, but
they look clasp, right? Yeah.
There is no button because that button may not get closed.
Right. It might pop off and they might get arrested for assault. The way that button go pop off like,
gotta go fucking bar, baby. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I also thought, in a way, the media kind of did a disservice for focusing so much on that one specific incident or one specific side of the incident because he'd gone they finished the interview and she invited him into the bedroom for a drink. And in the movie, she is playing a 15-year-old. And so the fact that he then follows and sits on the bed and as they're doing the interview, he's like patting her on the knee, and as she's talking to him, he's patting her on the low waist and stuff. It's like, all of this is very, very, very wrong.
And this is why his daughter was like, please do not vote for Trump.
Right.
This is the main reason why his daughter went to Vanity Fair and trashed her daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is exactly why she did it, because it was like, I need y'all to realize that I support nothing he does.
Yeah.
Because she did all this before the Borat movie came out. Like, when I say it was the best damage control you can do as a child to a bad parent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The brilliance. The brilliance of it. Because we love her even more, because now you see her and you be like, I'm so sorry that man even had to be part of raising you. I'm so sorry. Like, you just want to apologize to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kellyanne Conway's daughter. I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
it's why we love her. You're like,
she's where it's at. If you need a reason to get a TikTok, then she can be that for you.
It's
She
like,
can do that for you.
You're the reason. My thing is like, it's like,
oh,
wow,
Steven, I do remember. I did like something about the movie, and it was the only part that I liked somewhat. It was when he was bending over doing his business in front of Trump's building. Other than that,
there you go. Like, all right, you've heard it from Damien. There's something in it for everyone. There you go. You've heard it from Damien.
I had to scratch through it, and when I thought, I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, true. The only thing that I enjoyed about the movie was the black woman checking him.
Yeah.
Right.
About his daughter.
Something to note, she was under the impression that they sold it as another documentary that they were filming. That's how they explained the film crew. She thought she was part of it, and then people started to GoFundMe to give her more money because she was the only person in the entire movie
that
didn't just go along with everything.
Yeah,
right.
And Sacha Baron Cohen donated $100,000 to it. That's just a thing. I'm not saying it vindicates the whole movie. I'm just saying it's
certainly does.
Yeah,
nothing can save that.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm also afraid that Amazon, now that it knows that I've watched it, is going to try to recommend
more of that crazy.
The more stupid
you know
one.
how it does that. It's the algorithm. It's like, if you watch Borat,
right?
I want to be like
Netflix does, right?
Yeah.
Because Steven made me. No.
Right. Steven made me. And
sorry about it. Even if it doesn't, you're just saying Borat so much that your phone's picking it up. Everything's picking it up.
Yeah. And then
you're gonna get Borat the animated series.
Yeah.
I
have a question, Steven. What's your address again?
Yeah. See.
It is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Thank you very much.
The one with the giant 20-foot iron fences.
Yeah.
Right.
Big white panels.
Gotcha.
He can't hide in the bunker, but he can turn his house into a bunker.
With the wrinkle flags. Yeah.
Well, so more decision 20. So the incumbent senator from Texas has remained Republican. It's still too early to call on any of the other major Senate races outside of McConnell. It is looking like Georgia Senate that Warnock is going to actually take the seat, but still too early to call. The Dems only need 4 more to gain the Senate.
Because all I'm saying, I keep seeing Biden and Biden. I'm like, yes.
Which is really, really like is really great. Ohio, I vote out of Ohio. Ohio's making me very nervous, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and I keep seeing Biden at
too
top
early to
with
call,
Ohio.
but it's 53.4 to 45.4 Biden. So it's looking like Biden is. The sad part is, which I'm very happy about, that Cincinnati, the city that I vote in, this is the second time, the first time since Obama and Obama's first election that Cincinnati went blue, not red. This is the second time it's gone blue. So it's gone blue for Biden.
Yeah.
Which is really great. The surrounding counties are red though.
Yeah, they are.
You know?
Yeah.
Typical.
Same thing where I'm from, and I don't know. I know too many people that like to tout that around, and I know where they voted in 2016. So it's like you can keep your mouth shut on. Yeah, that doesn't get to be. You don't get to scapegoat that.
Because Franklin County, which is in Columbus, Ohio, has gone blue, 75.4%, which is normally red in Ohio. Which I'm just glad that people are actually seeing. Damien had said something really pointed yesterday in his show that I thought was kind of amazing. When it was, well, what would you say to undecided voters? And so we just had 15. It's 9:00 on the East Coast. So 15 states have now closed their polls altogether. They closed the polls. The problem is, so that our viewers know and understand kind of what's happening with this. So just because the poll is closed, it means that they're not taking any more people.
That's it. Yeah.
To vote. So anyone that is currently standing in line can still vote, and their vote can still count. So this is why a lot of these states it's just too close to call, or they're not calling it, because they literally have hundreds of people still standing in line to vote because they had to be in line by a certain time.
Right.
So that way you could still vote. Most of the places that polling closed at 7, you had to be in the line.
Biden got New Jersey. Oh, shoot.
Yes, New Jersey.
Yeah.
What New Jersey was going to go that way after Chris Christie got COVID. I knew they were turning. At that point, when Chris Christie got COVID, it was like,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Biden just projected winner in Connecticut. Surprising.
Right.
That's good old WASP money.
Yeah, I mean,
the majority of people in Connecticut
they wear a lot of Bernie shirts, despite, they might have a Confederate flag on their boat, but they got a Bernie shirt on their,
Well,
I've seen it in person.
But even in Connecticut, the majority of people that live in Connecticut are over the $400,000 a year mark. So for it to go blue, is really saying something. Because Connecticut is one of those places where the tax laws help them. Because everything, it's literally more expensive to live in Connecticut than it is to live in New York City, which sounds crazy, but it just is. I mean, I'm not mad. If you're renting an apartment in Connecticut, it's probably for your mistress. Because a house is a commitment.
Because she's so far away, though.
Right.
But no, I'm saying is, if you are living in an apartment, if you're living in Connecticut and your mistress is in Connecticut, you're not putting her in a house. That costs too much money. That's too much of a commitment. An apartment, a little condo, you can do month to month. I'm just saying. They'd have figured out how to write it off as a tax expense. I'm just saying.
Scrolling through all these states, I'm like, Maine, get your shit together. Michigan,
I was waiting on Trump to try to pass a bill that says you can write off your mistress. I was waiting for it. Because
as long as they're kept within a certain distance from your work, then it could be considered,
Ohio,
a business expense.
So I'm gonna say something really bad, and y'all gonna smack my hands for it. But I gotta get it off my chest because it's painful. So y'all know I love me some Joy Reid. Y'all know I love her. I love Joy Reid.
Yeah.
But why did her stylist put her in this burgundy blouse that's strangling her? Tonight of all night. Why? Why does it look like her blouse is trying to jump off of her skin?
Oh, North Carolina, Biden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, this hair in his face is beat to the gods. I'm here for it.
For it all.
But I'm like, but why is her blouse a struggle bus? Why is her blouse a struggle bus tonight? I don't understand. They did this to her yesterday, and I had to watch the show with my eyes closed because she had on Laura Ingalls' lace blouse for family functions, and it was just horrid. It was just horrid. South Dakota went to Trump.
Oh well, we knew that. South Dakota.
I mean, we knew, but still.
Yeah. As Tabitha sweetly said, typical. So yeah, I mean, hey.
All I'm saying is
trying to save Mount Rushmore.
I believe Charlotte is afraid. Charlotte is. I think because I ain't gonna lie, I put the threat out there. If Charlotte does not go blue, I will be
Maryland
on a campaign of sheer. Do not spend your money there ever. No more tourism, nothing. They got lead in the water. I'm like, I'm just gonna go there all the time. Like, if your city depends on tourism, you better go blue. That's all I got to say. Because you shut down. You can't make any money due to COVID because
that part.
If you need anything because of filming, you better go blue. If you want to film an entertainment industry in your state.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm going.
Like, how'd that bathroom bill business work out for you?
I'm here.
80
right
Biden,
now,
Trump 51. Hey.
The road to 270, 80-51.
Yes, Lord.
We're not seeing results yet, but New Mexico is labeled blue right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay, am I the only one that gets anxious about these counties, though? When they show the county number, it throws me off for a minute.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
It makes me anxious.
No.
I'd be like, what? I'm like,
because that's why I had to stop myself. I was like, yeah.
And I hate to say, I love my MSNBC, but I don't really care what Hillary's numbers were.
Oh, yeah, no.
Everybody's doing that, though.
Yeah, because CNN,
I know, but I just
heard it from CNN. They're doing the same thing. Oh, we're honey, we're not focusing on her right now. She's up
them doing this, even mention Hillary at all.
Right.
It just seems to make Trump's whole Hillary claims relevant because he's just using the same stump speeches he used in 2016 in all his things right now. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was watching I think I was talking to Damien on the phone, and because I was watching MSNBC, and I think I made him watch MSNBC because they were saying something on Saturday.
Right.
And I had stopped because I was like, oh my God, because something had happened in Philadelphia where I was like, wait, and I had to turn the TV up so I could actually hear what was going on. And they went to Trump in Arkansas. And of course, he was disparaging Senator Kamala Harris, where he had to catch himself because I just knew it was on the tip of his tongue that because he didn't say socialist. That nigga was right there. You saw
literally.
You saw it. You full on saw you don't want this nigga in the White House. I'm just saying. You completely it
was right there. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you don't want to do that, bro.
And he caught himself. He caught himself and he paused. And I was like, yeah, you're not as dumb as you be trying to make people think you is. For real, is you? You was a smart cracker. You was a smart old cracker. It was really.
You thought about that, didn't you? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because I was, which I've been watching. I binge watch it. It's amazing. I recommend anybody to watch it because I'm a chess fan. But Queen Gambit is
good.
Spectacular.
Yes.
It's spectacular. And the little black girl that turns into her sister, where all this time she just thinks that the black girl hate her. And the black girl is like, no, this is how I love. And like calling you a cracker, this is how I love. This is how I love. And it was like brilliant. Like it is so good. If you have not seen it, it is a definitely binge worthy recommendation to
Pennsylvania statewide Biden.
Yeah. I mean,
all right so far.
Yeah.
I started watching it. I watched the first episode and it was so good. I was like, I don't have time for this right now. Like I need to I need to put this aside.
Yeah.
And make time for this so that I can come back to it and give it the attention it needs. Like it was one of those shows that you put on while you're watching other things. Like I have quite the list of those kind of shows. And then but this one I was like, oh wait, no, we're gonna have to stop and just accept that we're gonna revisit it. But this is on a weekend that I can just contribute some time to it. So but the first episode was brilliant. Yeah.
Of course, District of Columbia. Projected winner, Joe Biden, of course.
Of course. Because they want that man out of their house.
Well, I think the moment that they put Black Lives Matter up to the White House on
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Right.
You out of here, player. You out of here.
Right, you out, bro.
Now, do you guys know that he was not allowed to have the kind of party he wanted to have at any of the local hotels, even his own local hotel, because of the CDC guidelines. So he decided that he was going to have a party of 100+ people, Mr. COVID himself, at the White House this evening.
Yes.
So that he could claim that he won.
Right.
Another super spreader event.
Here's where the problem with that comes. I'm like, in the moment he loses, I'm going to need Senator Kamala Harris to go ahead and sue that ass for using taxpayer money to throw your ass a party.
Right.
That part.
Then the American people don't have stimulus packages or any openings to have any type of occupation or job.
That part, literally.
Because right now, if you are unemployed, you are unemployed.
And that's what pisses me off about the Republicans, because when they were talking about, we don't want to give them too much money because they won't go back to work. What's there to go back to? There's nothing.
Right.
Well, the problem was it showed how out of touch they are on the rules that they set about being unemployed. You can't stay unemployed forever.
That part.
Right.
Especially if you're a male. And I'm going, part of the larger issue is if you are poor in the United States, this stimulus don't mean nothing to you. Like that was cute. That was nice for a moment or whatever.
Like, that was a nice piece of candy.
I was like, who it's affecting are all of the lawyers and like legal aids that they went on furlough and then they fired. Now they unemployed them. Like they were like
completely
no job, and so just done for. And it's like, and how the laws are set up, just in general, are when they did this furlough. Like I wound up getting furloughed off my job, which was fine. The problem is there are no laws that help protect the factor of once they rehire or once they're like can go back to capacity, that your job is offered back to you. The state laws say I don't have to give you your job back. And partially the reason they don't want to give you your job back is because what they can do now is in the times that we're in, so 9 electoral votes from Colorado go to Joe Biden. Just came in and out. So now we're 89 to 51. Biden on the road to 270.
Yes, this is helping my anxiety. Thank you. Yeah.
Just trying to keep the people abreast. I promised that we were going to give all the that we can give.
Oh, Maryland, Massachusetts,
yes. So
and
what
Maryland.
I'm looking forward to is I am hoping and praying that we get to this 270 electoral votes
right
before by midnight. So this way we don't have to worry about going back to Bush time where we didn't find out who the president was going to be.
Going back and forth like he did with him and Gore.
My God. Or even 2016 where like you went to bed and she hadn't conceded yet and you were like, well, maybe in the morning
right.
we'll wake up and she will have won because this can't be right. But
and to this day, I really strongly believe that Hillary Clinton really did concede too early.
I do too. I agree.
Yeah, she did.
I strongly believe that she conceded too early, and that if they would have really pressed the issues on some recounts, she would have won the election.
Yeah.
She did win the election.
Yes, yes, she did.
She won the popular vote handily.
Mm-hmm. She won the popular vote. And so my thing is, and what I am hoping that does happen when Biden and Harris do take over, that in his first 4-year term, that we eliminate the electoral college. Because it doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
Like, it doesn't make sense anymore. Like, literally anymore, the electoral colleges don't make sense. They made sense way, way back in the day, but they really just don't make sense anymore. Literally at all. And I hope within the next 4 years, we are looking very much towards a very different voting system in the sense where I should be able to vote from home on my phone at this point in life.
Right. And at the very least, something that I do see happening is even if they don't pass any sort of law that changes, that overhauls the Electoral College, they're pretty close, and we can see from here whether or not the band of states to get to 70, because they're trying to make this coalition of states that they automatically give their votes to the winner of the popular vote.
Right.
Could just be de facto out the window anyway.
That would be great. Mm-hmm. But something has to change. Just
Colorado's voting on that now.
Yeah, I think because something has to change. It's really kind of ridiculous in the sense where when the majority of the American people want one person, but we don't get them because they won electoral, does not make sense at all. And what it does goes to show is kind of the mystery mystic of New Hampshire. So it's like if you don't win New Hampshire, you can't win.
Right.
Like you can't lead the country. And it's like, but New Hampshire, what we learned, if anybody watched West Wing, that New Hampshire, of all the places, struggles the most on all policies. So we would listen to them. Why? Like their education sucks. Y'all ain't never got enough money for nothing. We listen to y'all. Why?
Okay. So it's like Iowa. Right. It's like barometer, and
exact same thing.
They are representative of how many people's experience in the United States?
Right.
Very few.
Yeah. I've been to Iowa, and I just wonder why it's such a hub. It's not cute.
No, it's not.
I met some very nice people on both sides.
Did you now?
Well,
yeah.
So all I'm gonna say,
is
Yeah, cheers
So
on that.
So what our viewers don't know is that so on tonight in honor of Tabitha's birthday.
Yes.
My cocktail is tequila. And so I'm just hoping that I have a very different reaction that I normally have when I drink tequila.
Which
tequila
is fighting.
just makes me angry and want to fight. So we're gonna have to win this decision 2020 in this Democratic Party, and we're gonna need to win the Senate because I'm gonna feel a little civil unrest. That's what I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna feel it in my spirit. Like
right on now.
Don't you be using my name.
I'm just saying. I'm not using
people.
you. I will be using 1800 silver.
Yeah, come on here.
As the blame. And so what I am going to say is, and the reason this bottle is so big is because, so the liquor store in my area, which I did not know, is, so one of the little workers has a crush on me. And they sold me the big one for the price of the little pint.
Well.
Hey, that's how you do it, huh? People ain't easy.
I was like, ooh. And so, and I didn't pay attention to that factor. Where I was like, and this is why, because I normally when I go there, it's literally out of desperation, meaning I ran out of stuff. So I'm like, it's in the neighborhood. I don't have to go far, especially since the pandemic happened. So I can go and kind of stock up and like, so I buy like several. I don't go and buy one thing. I buy like several things. So I had got like the Douce, I had got that. I got some vodka. Of course, I picked up the Jameson rye.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't have the size I wanted. And so they were like, oh, well, since we don't have the size you want, we'll give you the big one for that price because we don't have it. I was like, oh, thank you. Not a problem.
So some things they're not getting until closer to the Christmas season. Yeah.
Well, right. So I was like, thank you. And they were like, well, we really appreciate you come here. You support us. Da, da, da. So that's what I thought it was. So I got home and was like, I should have spent more than $200 because I stocked up. So I started looking at the receipt and I was like, well, hey. And then there was a phone number on
there.
How
you doing?
Hey. You
How
know what that
doing?
means.
Uh-huh.
You know you can't drink all that by yourself.
I sent a thank you text.
Party up too.
My thing is, I sent a thank you text and let the new babe knew what happened. And then let the new babe what happened. I was like, hey.
Yeah, spill that tea, honey.
I was like, I got a fan at the liquor store. We just got hooked up.
We got the hook up. I know that's right.
And which didn't matter because the new bae doesn't drink.
More for you.
It happens.
That's how I thought about it too. But my first question was, so it's not going to bother you that I do, Lorraine? Because I had a very Karen Walker moment. Like, this relationship will never work. Like this relationship will never work. I don't even think you understand what I have to go through on a regular basis with the politics alone make you need to sip on something.
I hear that.
And I'm not really like, I have beer, but I'm not a beer drinker. Beers for me are I'm out with friends and like the bar crawl. And so I feel the tipsy coming on. All the beer does is just like kind of flush me out like water. So I'm like,
basically, yeah.
And I can nurse a beer until it's warm. And then I had to put it down. And I'm normally like in the middle of it.
I have, even some of my best friends have pursued to have me try all types of beers in order for me to love it because I don't. They know I don't. It's a taste that I just don't.
Damien,
it's the beer taste, right? It's the beer taste.
Colorado, wait, guys. So Colorado just went Democrat for Senate. That means we only need 3 more to overtake the Saints.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, they tried different brands, flavors, the whole 9, and I'm like, no. Mm-mm. Do you have strong liquor? I need liquor.
If you want to appease them in any regard, I have discovered something.
Okay. I'm open.
Ciders are sweet when they are low in alcohol in ABV, because it's like, to make things whatever. If you go to one that's like 7%, it's because you're not screwing around if you're drinking this like 7% can.
Right.
It's not full of extra sugar and stuff, and it tastes, quite frankly, like almost like a sparkling water that has a slightly stronger flavor.
Gotcha.
And
a stronger kick. Gotcha.
But like, it does not taste strong of alcohol, and you could get it. It could
get a little buzz there.
Where you need to go. It can get you where you need to go.
Take it right where you need to go. All right,
it can
now,
get you where you
like
need to go. And, you don't got no beer taste. So if you're trying to have a slower evening and everyone wants cans in the hands, find yourself a nice dry cider. As long as it's nothing below 6, and you're drinking candy.
Right, 7 and up. Yeah,
there you go.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
I'll check that out.
Cory Booker retains his seat in New Jersey as senator, which is fantastic. To Senate control, Dems need to gain only 3 more seats. That's it. So I want to go to my favorite segment that we have. Because this should be a very interesting conversation amongst us.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
I feel like I'm
before I go there,
right. I need to go get the strong stuff.
Right. So I rode to 270, Biden 89, Trump 63. So our Negro Please Award. So
mercy.
There are 4 nominees. And I'm going to let you guys decide.
I got a strong feeling.
I'm like trying to prepare.
Right. I'm like, okay.
Do we need a refill break? Do we need a quick refill break?
I might need to get something stronger because I got a strong feeling.
So the first 2 nominees are Waka Flocka and the Asian Doll.
Who? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. So Waka Flocka went on his Twitter and decided to say that Orangina was a better president and is a better candidate of a president than Barack Obama ever was.
Okay,
yeah, I'm gonna need a stronger drink.
You're pursuing to get my pressure up. This is what you're doing.
Hey, I'm just giving the facts.
I feel it in my spirit.
Then the Asian Doll.
Where is this Asian Doll?
So the Asian Doll is a rapper.
She's Asian?
No, she's not. She just calls herself the Asian Debrat. But they called her the Asian Doll.
Dolphin without a brain.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. And hollow. Okay.
So she has endorsed Trump on her Twitter and Instagram page. And in the process of her doing that, because her calling herself trying to support the homies, as she said, then pulled a Ice Cube and, I mean, not Ice Cube, a 50 Cent, or as Damien,
half cousin.
Or Damien likes to call him 5 Dimes.
Yeah, 5
Dimes. Reneged her statement because she was losing her African American.
Oh, really?
Her African American support.
You don't say.
Well, the good thing is a lot of her fans aren't old enough to vote. So.
Well, that.
Right.
But they have Twitter.
Right.
And people who are don't know who she is.
Well, that part they know who she is. I mean, because apparently she started off on TikTok and YouTube and all the things.
Sure.
So our third nominee is Ice Cube. for having the mitigated gall to be upset about SNL doing a spoof on him due to his platinum plan, and has went on a Twitter rampage raid in the attempt of threatening to sue SNL.
Yeah.
Even though he celebrated SNL when back in the day they did a parody of NWA. And then our final contestant and nominee, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne decided to do a whole interview.
Looking like a damn scarecrow with scribble
you see
all
right
over.
there, a hot ass mess. Yeah. Just horrible.
My mother said he looks like a turd.
yeah, that'll work. Yeah, we'll do that too.
Like chin tattoo makes it so when he wears like that, he was wearing like a navy blue or black sweater and everything. It just like looks like he's got no bottom jaw. I was like, what is happening?
He looks like Jimmy New the Cricket as a survivor of a burn.
He looks like a turd.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So he's gone on in support of Trump and against Black Lives Matter, all in his high and drunken state. And Black Twitter has suggested that he just go back into hiding.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So let's go around. Start with the birthday girl, Tabitha. Who's your vote for the Negro Please Award this week?
I'm so glad my mama raised me right, where I don't refer to rappers to make decisions about my political views.
Right.
So I have to completely discount the first two because they're not relevant to me at all, ever. Like, yes. I could literally trip on her on the street and be like, oh, watch yourself.
All of that. All of that.
That part.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Ice Cube is disappointing. I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to have to go with Lil Wayne because he has some pull financially, and people pay attention to the ridiculousness that comes out of that man's mouth. And the fact that he stood up there in the White House with that man and said what he said at this point in time, yeah, he gets the award for me. And just know that if I were to bump into him on the street, I would be like, watch yourself.
Raid.
Right.
Then again, if he bumped into me, he'd probably hurt himself. So we're not even gonna even.
Oh well, no, he gonna try to straight holler. You his type,
right?
I would break that man in two.
That's the point. That's why you his type,
right?
As he said, like loving ain't loving with a little pain. I was like, ooh, no. I'm like, pain for the person having to sleep with you. I'm like, because it's painful to look at you, but then
it's painful to look at that.
Then I'm going, if Flavor Flav can find love, who are we? Like, we all running around here single. So I'm just saying.
Child,
go there. All four of us running around here single, so maybe we don't know something. I'm just saying.
Hey, maybe I missed something.
All I'm saying is, if I ever show up with someone that looks like Lil Wayne, y'all know it's for money.
All I'm saying is,
and you know I'm gonna hook you up. So just
how you
doing? Go very nice and be like, let me feel your forehead. I just want to take your temperature.
No,
I want to make sure. I just want to make sure that you have not turned into Caroline or from Ratchet. And
don't walk into the light, baby. Don't walk into the light. Don't do it.
And you done turned around and you got schizophrenia and a whole new person that's showing up and Tabitha is somewhere asleep inside you. That would be. I'm just saying.
This is what I need you to do. When we see, if ever we see you like that, just give me that wink And I'm like, okay, there's a message to that message. Like, okay, then we about to come up, right? Like,
I got all of you. Don't worry.
I got y'all back.
Right. Because I'll sign an NDA. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna sign an NDA for that. I'm gonna sign an NDA.
Hey.
They were like, so what do you think about that, Andre? I don't think nothing.
Y'all better keep your mouth shut.
No comment.
Don't think nothing.
No comment.
What? Don't think nothing. What? I don't think nothing. Could you hand me my Birkin, please? Thank you.
Right. Can you hand me my Salvatore Ferragamo, please? Thank you.
I
need that. Thanks.
So, Stephen, who's your vote for?
So, my vote has to be for Wayne because, you know, at the very least, if Ice Cube did anything, he's stuck to a line of not endorsing anyone. You know, he has stuck to this line of like, this is not about any particular president, regardless of whether or not the optics paint a different picture, and he should be aware of that.
Well, see, I'm gonna disagree with that because when he first rebutted him meeting with Trump's people, his response was that he met with them and he was open to meeting whoever met with him first, and then he ended that tweet with hashtag Trump 2020. That's an endorsement.
Fair, you know. At the very least, he talks out of both sides of his mouth. So he ends up with a slightly narrow lead since Wayne is standing there arm in arm with the dude, pretending that a 2-page platinum plan compares with a 48-page plan. You know, a 2-page plan that doesn't reference systemic racism and things like that. It's like, okay, sure. Yeah, no. So I gotta go Wayne. The other two, who's listening? I saw a great TikTok that was about that. Like,
I love that.
You saw, listed them and then goes into a quote from Malcolm X where he said it's like it's only in the Black community that singers and comedians are lifted up as thought leaders in the community, and it's like no.
Which I mean, it was such a true statement.
Right. He's like, show me a white comedian that is a thought leader in the white community. And yeah, I gotta go Wayne, arm in arm with Trump. I mean,
yeah,
no.
Damien, who's your vote for?
So
okay, wait. You know what? Before you give your vote, we got 2 for Wayne. I'm going to give my vote, so that way you'll be the deciding factor.
Okay.
So my vote was for Ice Cube, and this is why my vote was for Ice Cube.
You trying to get my pressure up?
Well, this is why. So I gave Lil Wayne a few props in his drunken state. At least he met with Trump. Ice Cube has not.
Don't say that. You can't say that on this show, Damien Monkey. You can't say that on this show.
My thing is, he played himself to not even meet with the person you need to meet with. Like to actually get the real promise from. Ice Cube didn't do this and has been figured out, instead of just saying, I made a mistake, has really tried to point the finger, walk it back, flip it round as something completely else, and that we tripping for SNL to do what SNL does best, and always very excited when SNL can make fun of Black people because it actually allows the Black people on SNL to really work. So Keenan being able to be Ice Cube was brilliant. Keenan
is my boy. I love me some Keenan.
Just in itself, and I think people always kind of forget how funny he really, really is, and how good he really is, because he is the Eddie Murphy of SNL.
Yeah.
Or this generation, in the sense of he's the one that can do the controversial. He's the one that can make fun of the black stereotype in a way that white people laugh, but he still holds them responsible. Where it doesn't happen with all the other black people that wind up on SNL at all.
Right.
And when they try to make that happen, like with Leslie, it's not welcome. Like, it's a problem with the whole SNL factor. So submission Leslie. And I love Leslie. If you're not watching our show, please watch it. It is the best fun on TV right now. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Her supermarket show is
Hulu.
It is the best. It is literally the best. So if you gotta watch it. But for him to get upset with a venue, with an organization that literally, at the time when NWA was out, SNL did for NWA what A Hard Knock Life did for Jay-Z. It brought them to a whole Caucasian audience where there are more white people today buying NWA albums that he's getting paid for than black people are ever buying an NWA album. Just saying. NWA should not be ranked on iTunes as in the top 100 on sales ever. And it has consistently been for the last 15 years. That says a lot. So why are you mad at the folks that really put you on? That made it possible for you to be at this $400,000 plus a year and mad because your taxes are going up. Just saying. So my vote went for the audacity and mitigated gall of Ice Cube. How dare you? Damien, who did your vote go to?
So let me start off like saying this right here.
Do I need to pour more?
You might want to. Yeah, I might need to put some dollars in the jar because it's gonna get real funky right about him. So first off, I'm feeling good and ratchet right now. First off,
keep it clean.
Oh yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my damnedest, honey. You keep praying for me here. But yeah, yeah. I'm gonna start off like this here. Because first of all, Waka Flocka Who and that android looking wannabe Chinese pank heifer, who are they? Okay. Then again, yeah, let's just start there. Because it's like, and it just first of all, that goes to where I am with all the hip hop artists right now. Because if you're being silent, you're not helping. And then if you are opening your mouth to the wrong side, you're not helping. Period. I don't care what detail you give it, what aspect you look at it from. God bless you, baby, but no. You're not helping. You're not. We're dying out here. They kill us for sport daily. Okay. So I don't care about, the bullet points. No, I don't give you nothing because you're trash to me. Worthless. Because you don't honor yourself. You don't honor your ancestors. You don't honor your heritage. You don't honor your people. Number 2. Ice Cube. Since I can't say it. Double time. Double time. mule number 45. And yeah, that's how I feel about that right now. Cause see, I take that person, and I've shared this with Dre, because it makes me halfway emotional, because I'm like, dude, you from our hood, bro. You know what we deal with daily. Born and raised here in South Central. I am, just as he is. And I'm like, this what we doing? You have lost all respect. So I don't even count him anymore. I've disconnected. I used to follow him. Because I support my people. So anything I had of him, excommunicated. But when it comes to that little bug life looking roach with scribble all over him, oh God, it's like, who vomited you up, honey? Because I don't know. That's my vote, because you're up here. First of all, you're not in your right mind. Let's start there. As intelligent as you are, you're not in your right mind. And then for you to go along with the flow,
right,
where you're on the other side. You're on the side with the killers. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how you say it. You're on the side of those who have organized this worldwide genocide to kill human life of all races, because we're all dying from this daily. This is why I'm angry right now when I talk about this, because this is home. You don't bring BS to the house. You keep that outside. Your home is supposed to be a place of peace. Our community is supposed to be a place of peace and refuge. But then you go and do that? So, Lil Wayne, here you go, bro. That's all to you. That's my vote.
Well, consensus 3-1. Negro, please report.
I can't even look at him.
Yeah, because it's
the
like
same color palette as it's all one
like,
color palette. You know?
Please stop it. Make it go away. Mm-hmm.
It brings out, the yellow, it pops,
All the different color ones.
That for our war to be more prettier than them. I'm just oh my God. So these crucial battlegrounds that are going on are now all just too close to call.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just saying they're too close to call. It's 89, 72 in the road to 270 electoral college votes. Biden up 89. Donald Trump with 72.
Okay.
Ohio. So we've net gained 1 in our Senate picks, so we still need 3 to control the Senate in Democratic status, which I'm really looking forward to. Because if McConnell
Pennsylvania 51.7 to 47.0.
But I'm really excited for John
Hickenlooper
of Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Come on here. You said that. You made it. Yeah.
That was hard. That was a tongue twister. Like, say that 3 times fast.
Right. Take that back.
Yeah. They were like, is that black man speaking in tongues on that show?
He got the Holy Ghost? What's wrong with him?
I was like, oh, Michigan. I just can't with you, Michigan.
Flint is red.
Right. But I understand, but I'm going after. I'm just saying, between Detroit and them being like, them turning on their own white governor.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Boom.
I'm going to need every black person and Democrat all throughout Michigan to vote blue just because of those 2 things.
Please and thank you.
That's because of the water, which the government has done nothing to help. And they done went after your whole governor because they couldn't go to the gym or to the golf course. A whole plot to kidnap her. The whole night, like all of it. I'm going.
I thought that was such a stank situation. I'm like, are you guys? I know you're serious, but really?
Right, but just to save face. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those, we need to save face. Like, this is that whole, I don't want nobody to think I'm a racist vote moment.
Okay, Dre, but see, this is one of the reasons why all of these other countries, first of all, this is one of the reasons why the US of A has been the end of the punchline and a joke to all the other countries, because they've always said we're spoiled and we're selfish, which is true.
It's true.
You know, and I'm like, you know, and to actually see that in real life, I'm like, looking at the news like, wait, let me, you know, I had to shut my own mouth. I'm like, in disbelief. Like, really?
Right.
This was just, y'all strategize and organize this thing here in pursuit to kidnap her. The governor.
Right.
In office. Okay.
All of that.
And offended that they got caught.
Right.
That part.
Man.
Totally offended. Like, oh my God.
Yes, pissed. That was the funny part. I was like, y'all really got attitude that y'all got caught.
Literally. They were hot. 38 hot. Like, I'm a lady. Oh, you don't? Really? Okay.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I say I don't understand, but I mean, but around the world, the main thing that most people have been saying, especially people of color, have been saying, well, at least we see our enemy.
Yeah.
Where if you're in London or Australia, Spain, their racism is so very subtle. That it literally takes an American to say, did she just come out her mouth? Like, it literally takes that because it's such an accustomed
absolutely
undercut thing that you just don't pay attention to. It's so under the breath. Where here we full on like
look at that orange piece
you
of
are
something.
You are never going to have an English person call a black English person a nigga to their face. It ain't never gonna happen.
No.
The sheer fear.
But I mean, the spirit that.
But here,
number 45 brought with him
and live.
Yeah, the spirit and energy that 45, that burnt orange looking piece of poop, brought with him. You know, they're bold in your face to where it's like, oh, so you do want this ass whooping. You know, it just like, oh, okay. So you want the end of my baseball bat, don't you? You want it bad. I see you really want it. But it's just like, you know, they're so bold and in your face and like, I don't like it. I'm like, oh. I mean, and this takes, and I'll take it here. Speaking of boldness, let's talk about the conclave that surrounded that Biden bus
in Texas. Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah, you mean escort? I believe I heard that they were nice people. Escorting the bus. And then Marco Rubio said that they do it even more in Florida, right? So yeah.
I'm learning so much today. I mean, first I learned how to properly tuck in your pants as a man.
Right.
And now I'm learning that when you're surrounded, it really means escort. Thank you guys.
Right.
When they're like running into the cars and you're escort. Yeah.
Informative.
Yeah.
And apparently,
and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I love my Texans."
Words of Child Gambino. This is America.
Yeah,
don't get me flipping up. I'm just saying.
There was a protest near the High Line that like 10 people got arrested. 2 of them press at it was the same day as all the Trump cars blocked a bridge in New Jersey, no police response, nothing. And then somehow the way it made it down to South Carolina was that people who, hate Trump went to counter protest Trump supporters, and then they were violent or whatever. And it's like, I was like, huh. I typically, when someone says something like that, I'm like, oh, say more. Yeah, just like, oh, let me just go ahead and do a very quick Google search to find out.
Right, let me Google that up right quick.
Yeah, it's like they were miles apart, and the only reason they appeared in the same stories was to show that the police target anti-Trump protests and allow Trump protests to do whatever. I mean, did we all see the guy in Texas? The truck that tried to drive through the pool in Texas?
They're all good people, right?
Oh,
all the people, they're all good people with the T-keys and all of that. They're
all right,
good.
Forget the gun owners and the private militias. We need to be talking about the radical left in their cans of soup. They say it's soup for my family. You can't throw a brick; it's heavy, but it's like it's worse than a brick.
Holy,
they have.
Because that's what you guys president called that escort.
Mm-hmm.
Those good people.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I? Really?
Well, all I can say is that I'm looking forward to the escort on January 21st when they escort him out of that.
Thank you.
By force.
Like bring
by force, because they're gonna have to drag his ass out.
Right.
But
But this is what I'm gonna say. Now this is what I kind of believe is gonna happen. And maybe this is just my wishful thinking. But I have a feeling what is going to happen is that Trump is going to come December, late December, January, like around Christmas time, is going to take a trip to Russia
to see his boyfriend.
His boo thing.
And decide to stay. And just decide to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Because he keeps talking about every time, ever since Joe Biden was presented with a 54% approval rating, all he has talked about has been, if I don't win.
Right.
I can't lose to him. I can't stay here. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to leave the country.
I'm like, don't bore me for the good time, honey.
Democrats are like, bye. But on the reality, it's because they're gonna lock that ass up.
Yeah, but
these kids finna get locked up, and the only place you're gonna be safe is in Russia, because everyone else in the EU, everywhere else around the world,
they don't want nothing.
They turning your ass in. They say, "Oh, come get them, come get them."
Right?
Come get
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Russia would turn him over for the right price.
Oh, of course they would.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Russia's like, come on over, and then they'll be like, we need you to go down that long hall, like the horror movie. Go down that long hall.
And it's the door on the left.
And that door, I know it's dark in there, but you'll be fine.
But do you understand the brilliance of Putin turning on him?
Oh, beautiful.
Be like, oh, so now you know what it feels like to be a jilted mistress. You understand what it feels to be Marlo Thomas. You
be
understand?
Grabbed by the will.
As I posted earlier on Instagram, grab him by the vote. Vote him out.
Get him out of there. That's been my hashtag for I don't know how long. Vote him out.
So this is crazy. North Carolina, too close to call. 49.5 Biden, 49.3 Trump. They are literally, North Carolina is literally in the split.
Neck and neck, yeah.
All of them are.
I'm very curious as to how they're going to be framing the end of the night. Like, are they keeping track of how many votes are in the mail? Especially since
this is the thing. So while we were watching, some people from Alpha Phi Alpha that work for the Postal Service walked in ballots into a county for them to be counted that were mailed in. So
Right.
I think they are counting ballots as well as
Right.
at the same time in the sense. The part of the problem with the count in ballots, which is really kind of funny to me, is the states that actually matter immediately start counting votes.
Mm-hmm.
But they keep telling us these stories about states that can't count the ballot until they can't start counting the mail-in ballots until they close balloting.
Mm-hmm.
None of those states that they're doing that in are are not states that are going to like make a huge difference. The only one that does it that way, that is what they call a state in play, is Nevada, where Nevada does not count their ballots until they close the mail-in ballots until they close the ballots. But they always have a quick turnaround because Nevada has always done early voting. So when they give in the turns, it's real quick. It seems like, 3 billion people voted like in the last 20 minutes. No, like it's immediate. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, especially in these counties that Trump did not go into, because they're the surprising things that are turning a lot of the states. It's where they were doing all this rural campaigning, but major metropolises are like, dude, no. Because Biden is killing it in Ohio in the major cities.
Big time.
Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, like killing
certain
it.
Counties, he's bringing it. In certain counties, he is bringing it.
So this is really interesting. I do need Biden to get, Biden been sitting at this 89 for a little too long for me, I'm just going to say.
And to push it up, baby. Push it up.
Yeah, I'm going to push it up because I'm like 89 and 72. But then
Arizona just came in, though.
Right, I said, because your guys' polling is just now closing, Tabitha and...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Arizona just came in, 60% reporting. So far, it's 56% Biden, 43% Trump.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind the Senate races, since we are trying to flip the Senate as well. Georgia, we have a very, very heated debate between Perdue and Ossoff. Iowa between Ernst and Greenfield. That's a big one. Texas between Corden and MJ, as I like to call him. And then, of course, South Carolina, where we're trying to get Lindsey Graham out of there.
Right.
Please and thank you.
Which
Jamie
Harrison, I'm like...
Yeah.
And here's this. I don't particularly care for him at all. I don't think... and the reason I don't really care for him is because every interview that I've seen, he has kind of boasted about he's never had to change the message at all throughout the entire factor because, Lindsey Graham, because he's counting on people to vote on Lindsey Graham on Lindsey Graham's record, not on Lindsey Graham as the person. And I'm like, that's a bit cocky. And you're not saying, all you're saying is you're going to kind of do your job. Where can we really say that Lindsey Graham wasn't doing his job in Carolina? Because he was.
He just wasn't doing it for us.
That part.
He ain't doing it. I can say he wasn't doing anything for South Carolina. That I can say.
A bag of chips.
Right.
And I can say the people who want him.
Yes, the people that wanted him in.
The people that want him, they don't care about him. They care about not Jamie Harrison, because where's this money coming from? Where does this guy come from that comes out of nowhere? Lots of typical conspiratorial thinking when somebody is a popular Democrat and a popular black politician. And then also this idea that, so take a place like Charleston. Charleston is a city. Its needs are roughly the same as St. Louis, as New York, etc. In terms of need, in terms of what a voter can actually needs representation for. But they benefit, white voters benefit from the Electoral College. And so they like Lindsey Graham being there to protect the conservative majority in the Senate. Just speaking from the pool of South Carolina voters I know.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's where, I mean, I guess the sheer comedy of it comes. The brilliance is, especially now, it is so vital that we are able to overtake the Senate because Mitch McConnell needs to be dethroned to a degree. And since we can't get him out of complete office, we definitely have to take away his power, because the good thing about Senate is the Senate race, we don't have to wait until January for the new Senate to take their job. It's virtually almost immediate. And Nancy Pelosi is going to push very hard to pass the stimulus in the lame duck, because what the Biden-Harris party cannot handle is thousands of white Americans not being able to have Christmas. Just saying. They ain't gonna be able to do it. This cannot be, and it has to be, because Trump is gonna do, Orangina is gonna do everything he can do possible to.
I just know that Orangina is just running scared in her boots. I promise you, that lopsided thing is just running scared.
And honestly, I don't think so. Only because I really believe, like his Aunt Mary and his cousin Mary, where he doesn't comprehend defeat. He doesn't comprehend it not being about him and him not getting his way and doing what he wants to do.
He's a grown toddler. He definitely is.
I think this is not going to settle in for him for real. Because he got to lose everything.
I'm seeing
he got to lose the presidency. He gonna lose the presidency.
They look close, but I'm seeing a little cute little numbers.
Yeah, presidency. He gonna lose the presidency. I almost can guarantee that Melania is gonna file for divorce before they leave the White House.
Well,
she's separating herself from all this. I'm telling you.
You that's only a business. Right.
Have you seen The Body Double?
I have.
Yes, I have.
That woman was not Melania.
Right.
No. When she's back in Slovenia. It was like, that's not her. She's smiling. Like, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Kissing him.
Right. Because I mean, you have to know it's a body double, first of all, because every time that he reaches for Melania, she yanks her hand back. She's like, no. And it's so, because I always add to it, because I'm like, I can just hear her saying, like, oh no, this is a business transaction. You make sure you pay for me and my child. I gave you your son. Now don't touch me. I don't want you to touch me.
That woman literally said, because I can read lips thanks to my mom.
Right.
That's enough. He was kissing on her, and she was like, "That's enough."
Right. Like, pause. No more. Woo! We don't want no more. Thank you.
Just to the point where I think I probably listened to that taping of her. Because she hate Christmas.
Yeah.
And was like, and now they want me to talk about the fucking kids. I'm like,
I love it. I want it on a shirt. I want Who Gives a F About Christmas on a shirt.
I was like, when I say I wanted to be a ringtone on my son's dad, when my son's dad tried to call me, that's what I wanted to be.
Like, December 25th, it's going to be on my Twitter. It's going to be everywhere.
Like, I want to figure out how to make it a ringtone because it is brilliant. It's brilliant. Just full on.
There's a really funny meme. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Sure hope Flotus recovers from COVID in time to put up the fucking Christmas decoration. Sorry, drop the F-bomb.
I love it. I mean, it's another one of those things where it's like, imagine if it came out of Michelle Obama's mouth.
Well, oh my God.
Because, and listen, of course, when it comes to the Obamas, they are royalty to me. And I appreciate not only Barack, but also Michelle's realness. Because she tell you in a minute, I hate politics, but she knows her stuff on paper.
Well,
and
because
she comes with it every time.
She's a lawyer. Like at the end of the day, she has a love for the law.
Yeah.
But her love for the law is about the people.
It's about humanity. Right.
It's not about like, is this law the best law or does the law work? It's her love of the law is I need you to be able to take it in. Like my thing is treat me how you treat this law. Like it can't just work for you, it's got to work for everybody.
Everybody.
Which is brilliant. Okay,
yes.
So we done broke into the 90s, 94, 72 Biden in the electoral college. So we're getting there. Oh my God. So 50% of the vote is in Georgia. Purdue is up 56.1 against Ossoff. But we're only halfway in. So there could always be
that's always a change. Yeah.
In the special Senate race, Warnock is up the highest, 28.5%. Because Loeffler, she has tried to buy the election from the beginning.
You're right.
So we'll see. Like I'm going, it's a lot at 10:15. Like it's a lot.
That part.
Right.
And North Carolina is so close.
So close. Right.
Oh
right. Very close.
Pennsylvania are like they're on the edge. It's like making me fluster just a little bit. And so it looks like Boiler is going to lose Arizona.
That's good.
But she's a Dem.
Oh no, not. Oh, Arizona. Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
It looks like It looks like Biden is going to take Arizona.
Yeah.
But the Senate seat is going to get lost. This is why I was like, we need these other three, really four, of these Senate seats in Democrat, because we really need to be able to take over the Senate for us to
get anything done.
To really get some things done. Because watching that documentary, 537 votes on HBO was a real wake-up call of it's really funny when you look at this Republicans have not made this country prosperous since FDR.
That bro was a Democrat, dude.
Democrats have
killing it.
The Democratic president has always been the influxual of wealth in the country since FDR, which is really kind of jacked up because it's like, okay, well, and watching 537 at the end, the last 10 minutes of the documentary, the commentator breaks down bullet point where he was like, let me tell you when we started losing money and started this is when all this happened. And in Soul of America, he really breaks it down on where the country turned.
I love that.
In this bad way.
That was an amazing documentary.
The only way for it to turn around is literally going to be a Democrat. It's the only way, because otherwise it will keep creating a deficit, because Republicans only base wealth upon donorship, not across the country.
Mm.
So when the poor is up more than 30% in the whole country, your party's kind of failing if you're in charge.
Right. Especially since those places are often controlled by that party. Like the wealth in this country is consolidated within 100 miles of the borders.
Facts.
Period. You know?
I honestly believe, I feel like if Cuomo runs for governor again, I need his platform to be how for our money to separate going to Kentucky.
Right. I mean, that was during the last debate, I was like, you know what? I want a social experiment. 5 years, red states can take no money that comes out of blue states. Yeah. And let's see how these failing, lawless blue states really are compared to these shining star Republican states.
Exactly. That part. All of that.
And I think it's only fair. Figure it out.
North Carolina, Wake County, Biden 65.5, Trump 33.1. Okay.
Well, it looks like
New Mexico, Lujan 52.0, Ronchetti 45.7.
So in South Carolina, Harrison is down 43.1. Graham has 55.5%. Which, and this is what I'm going to say, this is why that is. Most Americans vote name recognition. It's the name they know, so that's who they vote.
Right. Honestly, it's why Biden is the nominee, because all the southern states go first. A lot of the southern states vote around the same time, with so much of the ad space bought up by Republicans. So there's a dearth of Democratic nominee information out there to get to Democratic voters. The most recognizable name is going to win.
Rhode Island, Reed, 53.3. Okay.
This is like,
yeah.
State Senate races. So,
I do like DC though. DC is you hover that mouse over DC and it's a good laugh.
So right now we're even. Democrats +1, Republicans +1 in the Senate pickups. So we got to do better. We now need 4 to take control. Because we just lost Arizona to a Republican in the Senate race, and it's looking like Wyoming is going to go to Loomis. So far, which is a Republican. This is really I was like, we really need the Democrats to take charge more than anything else.
Big time.
And Kelly is up, right? In Arizona, the Senate Special Arizona Kelly, 55.4 to McSaley's 44.6. So we're looking good. They only have 73% of their votes in there.
Senate pickups, Democrats, Colorado, Republicans, Alabama.
And quite frankly, I think we're about to lose Alabama.
Oh yeah, we lost
Senate.
But my thing is, but all along, all of the analysts have said that Alabama was going to go red in general, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, the history of Alabama in itself is they just determined to hold on to that racist.
Right. The only reason is because the opponent was calling middle schools to get girls out so he could take them on a lunch date. So
Right.
If you lose to that, and quite frankly, he almost did lose to that.
Arizona, Kelly 55.4, and McSally 44.6. Arizona. So Democrat is winning with Senate special. Arizona. Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Kelly.
Well, so the New York Times, which is really funny. I love how the New York Times calls things a little faster than everybody else. It's always really funny. So right now, the New York Times is actually saying that Trump is at 98 electoral votes. Biden has 131 electoral votes, and there's 309 still available. So, which is their estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
so this is like, I'm going.
Montana just opened up.
So right now, according to the majority, they're projecting that the Democrats are going to take it by 237 in the House majority. Fingers crossed that actually happens. Mm-hmm. These analysts are actually right. Yeah, like a lot of these Bible Belt states. I'm just really still sad that we are still voting on the abortion factor. Abortion and gay rights are still such a large premise in voting, which makes no sense at this point in time.
Right.
Because I'm at the name of Bible Belt pastor that has not paid for an abortion.
See, you went there.
Right, all the way there.
I'm a PK. I'm just saying.
It's the truth anyhow, but
abortions happen every day in the church. They happen every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they normally happen with the elite. The poor people are the ones that gotta have a baby. And feel.
And that legion of babies, kids following behind her. Yeah.
Right. And feel shame.
Right.
Shame. That's normally the poor Christians. But some Christians with a little bit of money, that baby has gone poof by.
Right.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
And if some of these Christian mamas, if they could sew up them babies' wombs, they would. Until they would treat them just like those African tribes that sew up the woman's vagina.
Right.
And then call it protection. And then when it closes together and they force them to try to have sex, it doesn't work. Like, that's a whole situation in itself. Where's dysmorphia? But
yikes.
All I'm saying is Handmaid's Tale is real. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen.
Because that is the Bible Belt.
Yo, my uncle is that exact. He's that exact thing, you know.
Yeah,
there ain't no global warming.
Stephen,
there ain't no global warming because God wouldn't make a planet humans could destroy. So these are the kinds of people.
Hey. Yeah, Stephen, I was going to ask you. You know, has there been any more events with your family?
Are you doing? Wait, Stephen, do you need to come to my house for Thanksgiving this year?
I'm going to a family's house. I'm going to my best friend's house in Virginia, so it should be nice. But there have been some, conspicuous messages. They just don't. Some people just don't want radical socialist Joe Biden to overhaul our democracy and replace it with socialism.
Okay, I feel my pressure.
And
so my question is, so when Biden wins, will you wear a Biden Harris t-shirt to Thanksgiving dinner?
See, if Biden wins, I'm thinking, regardless of if Biden wins, I'm thinking for Christmas, who gives a fuck about Christmas? I'm thinking Antifa. No, I'm actually thinking America, anti-fascist 1940 to 2020.
Wow.
You know, I'm thinking these things. You know, I'm brainstorming.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you love us. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just like, I'm
glad you love us because you know you are. Because my thing is to us, you are an honorary Negro. You are.
Yeah. Well, hey, you my brother from another mother.
We treat you like you grew up in the house right along with us.
Right, you can.
I don't know. I don't know how y'all.
That's the macaroni and cheese run table.
How do y'all feel about how do y'all feel about the C word for white people? How do you feel about it? Because I love it.
What?
No, cracker.
Cracker.
I love it.
It's my favorite.
I thought you meant cut. I'm like,
because I get cut for it, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm just like, I can't handle that cracker shit. Like, I just can't do it. And so
I do.
Again, what I'm saying, if you have not watched Queen Gambit,
I'm 2 episodes in. So
all I'm saying is, So Queen Gambit. What I love about that series is that it brought back my relationship with the word cracker in such a manner that I forgot how much I love saying it.
You know, I really have to say that I have some experience, some live and color, experience calling a few people. They really deserved it. You know, I give them that. You know, they didn't like it, especially the way I say it, because it comes along with choice words that are very derogatory. But, it came from my heart.
Well, see, for me,
it's hard to count
because I feel like because I normally call white people the Panks. I call them the Panks, and now because of Pussy Valley, I can't call them the Panks no more.
Right? Yeah. P Valley. Yeah.
So now
that's my life, baby. And season 2 is coming. Season 2 is coming. I'm gonna get my life, baby. But
speaking about season 2, which I'm surprised. So Stephen, which I don't know if you knew about this movie because it's not on your list.
I don't know that I know
There's
about
this new movie called Spell, starring Lorena Devine.
Mm-hmm.
And Amari Hardwick.
It's definitely up your alley, Stephen. I think we may have to review it because even I don't like horror movies at all, whatever. But
did you watch it already?
Spell? I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
But I've seen all the interviews, and I was on the Instagram Live interview with her and Omar, where they talked about the movie. I was on live with them for that, and it was like the things that she was talking about are things that I grew up with, in the sense of when it comes to like using herbs and which some people call black magic or herbal magic or whatever, and that holistic living, in the sense of you don't need a drug when they're like the earth literally has everything.
It does. Yeah.
Apparently it's very Misery-esque, apparently.
Yes.
We'll add it to the list. I think it's because it was like Halloween-y that we were just sort of like moving on from that. But they'll do is throw it on the list.
Yeah, because it's that one, and also which I really want to get into is His House on Netflix. That's another one.
Which one? Which show?
It's a movie called His House on Netflix. Definitely check that out.
Oh, if also Sarah Cooper's Netflix special is fantastic. Do y'all know who she is?
Yeah.
So like what I was really surprised with was the fact that it is star-studded. Like they'd been making the rounds that like her and Helen Mirren reenacted the Access Hollywood tape.
Right.
But then it's also got like Ben Stiller and Jane Lynch, and it's got there was something about the death of the Karens or something about like a documentary about Karens, and it was narrated by Whoopi, and I'm like, this show has everyone in it. Like, yeah. So it's just a lot of fun. That is something that can just play if you're cooking and you need something in the background.
True.
Okay.
And well, so we are like, wow. So we are in it, whatever. So we are 26 minutes and 42 seconds into the next poll closings. And so we're going to stick with you as much long as we can. Our birthday girl is going to bail on us just a bit.
She got turned up.
She got time to go. We love you. Happy birthday.
Love you. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Hopefully, when you wake up in the morning.
Happy birthday.
Birthday, Neil.
All right, you guys. I adore all of you. Thank you so much for giving me an excellent birthday and a wonderful birthday gift. We won't tell anybody else what it is, but it was wonderful.
Glad.
Yay.
And fingers crossed, legs crossed. I'm wearing my blue panties. We got it all.
Yeah.
Make sure we have a blue wave going on, and
please.
We'll see what happens. All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo! So it's the guys again.
It's the guys.
Oh my God, this is Milwaukee County. Like these breakdowns of the counties are stressing me out a bit.
Right.
Because you get this glimpse and it'll be like Biden's still ahead, but then they'll show the counties where it's like he's not. Excuse me, he's not. But I'm like, but he's projected to win. So why are we breaking down these counties like
right? Because
like,
Biden is projected winner of New Mexico.
Well, right. I was like, but you're like confusing me to no end. Like you're truly confusing me.
Right.
Like crazy.
Right.
And what's killing me is like the breaking news: crucial battlegrounds of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Arizona, and Florida up for grabs. I'm like, but you just called him for Arizona. Pennsylvania and Ohio are too close to call, but they're going really to him. North Carolina, definitely. And it's kind of funny. I keep getting these tweets about how Trump can win it. And I'm like, wow, y'all desperate. We already know. Trump,
right.
Like, Biden only needed to technically take over Texas, Florida, which he lost, Ohio, Pennsylvania, or North Carolina, and it's going to be almost a guaranteed win for him when you look at the electoral colleges. And so that's what is the strong part about this. And when you look at this situation, like they're looking at the 18 Ohio electoral votes, where apparently now Biden just dropped down in Ohio to 46%, Trump 51%, but they're still counting. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Some of the I'm trying to find exactly what site it is that like some of them you can switch the type of map you're looking at. Right. Oh, it's on New York Times. And that is because sometimes when you look at those counties, am I being all weird and glitchy? No. Okay. When you look at those counties, you can be like, oh, that state's really red. Those are a lot of red squares. And then you click on the dot map and you're like, oh, there's one dot in that square.
Right.
Okay. We got it.
Right. It's just the first dot to show up.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's a little bizarre. And a lot of these are like Virginia. Virginia, 55% of their vote is in. Trump is 52.8, 45.4, which is true. This is like they have been saying this from the beginning. Way too close to call, way too close to call, way too close to call. Part of the larger issue with MSNBC is MSNBC, even though it's their political station, because they're linked to
boy.
They're on the same.
Trump is gaining up because it's still Biden's still 131, but Trump is now 108.
Right. And then at this hour, the Senate race is tied 40-40.
Right.
So Democrats, we still need 4 to gain. for the Senate to control. And I'm like, for Democrats to control the Senate, which at the end of the day, I mean, yes. Well, because right now they've got, here they have Biden 98 and Trump 92.
Right.
Where New York Times has something completely different.
Right, exactly.
Right. But yeah, so basically I've just got it on Google. They're pulling the updates from the Associated Press.
Right.
You know, I'm just letting it do that thing. Which is where I think that's where New York Times is getting theirs too. But I mean, I'm just it's all sweat, you know.
Right.
So what are the Google numbers?
So I've got it's 131 and 108, but it's got you know, let's see, Missouri. Unfortunately, he's got an 8-point lead in Missouri right now. 18-point lead in Missouri right now. Ohio, he's got a 7-point lead. Pennsylvania, 9.
Yeah, because right now New York Times is 131,
108.
131 Biden, 108 Trump.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think we've known this from the beginning. Biden has been consistently 7 points up across the board.
Right.
So this is going to be this is why the voter suppression thing has been such a high targeted conversation across the board.
Right.
Because we were in this exact same space with Bush and Gore. Where it was like, it looked like, the country was in its longest reign of wealth that it had been in a long time since FDR. With
we had a surplus.
We had a surplus, right? So they figured that this was going to be a real walk in the park for Gore. They really did, and it really would have been if it wasn't for the little Cuban boy and him trying to distance himself from it, where Gore felt one way. I was like, and Clinton felt it different. And Clinton literally was like, look, I'm just trying to ride my wave up out of this girl because y'all already impeached me. He was not really trying to ruffle any feathers, where this would have been the most ideal time, where even though Clinton is still quite very much beloved, but imagine how this would have been very different if he would have stood up to keep the little boy here that his mom died escaping from Cuba.
That right there, that whole situation was
if
like,
Gore
wow.
would have won, we would not be in the climate crisis that we're in.
Right.
Other things would have happened. We would still be in a major surplus.
Gore, he actually went on a tour to warn us about global warming. We didn't listen.
Right. Years ago.
He had to go on that tour when he lost the election because the environment was the thing that he really ran on.
Right.
It's always been his belief.
Right.
And so he didn't have a choice but to go on this tour of, this is what I'm really passionate about, private funding.
And he gave us detail, and we still be like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Like,
well, the only person that really
now where we at
was Bill Gates, and Bill Gates only listened to it on the sense of being able to profit on pharmaceutical. Because you can't talk about the climate and not talk about plagues, sickness, because what a lot of people don't even really understand even about COVID-19. This is the 19th strand of a virus. That means there have been 18 before this one. Most scientists right now are even more so trying to say, well, there's not much we can do about COVID-19, and are really doing studies to try to prevent COVID-20. These have been like big articles, like in Politico and Wall Street Journal. Like it's like the concern is how do we stop all of this? SARS was 18. Now here we are at 19. What is 20 going to be?
Yeah, it's just there is no, if anybody needed a reminder, it's like we can't escape this happening again. We need all of the commissions, we need all the committees, we need all the surplus goods ready to go. We need people producing, that other documentary, Totally in Control, is about to come out on HBO, and that is on the list.
It's on the list, yes.
And there's some, John Oliver just had his segment on the coronavirus mentioned this guy who he is a medical supplier, contacted the administration in January to say, hey, all of our stuff is made overseas. Like, we have to address this immediately, and was ignored.
Right.
No, like, we have to get this stuff made here.
Mm-hmm.
It was with climate change also. It's like, we talk about the, like, 2030, we talk about these benchmarks that are off in the horizon, but the reality is they're only off in the horizon because the nations we don't care about, like, we don't care about them. Right. But there are island nations that are experiencing it now. There are people in Pakistan that are experiencing it now. I had no idea. I didn't even think of this, but I was watching France 24. It's my chosen news station. And they were interviewing these people, and they were like, what you have to understand is that because there's no land mass between Antarctica and India and South Asia, all that sea level rise affects them immediately. It's not broken up along the surface area of any other land masses. And so there are people continually having to relocate. Also, Syria. That is also a climate change issue. Because people to the cities, you have these overcongested cities. Like, it's just how it works. It is a much bigger issue than just getting warmer.
Right.
And it has been going on. It's not something that's like a 2050 thing. It's been going on for since 1988, when the first NASA scientist told Congress, hey, this is a problem for us.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay. Did we lose him there?
Did you look in the chat? He's got to go potty. Yeah. So, yeah. What are you checking right now?
I'm checking the numbers here to see what I can get. Because I'm using New York Times as well, because they're giving the electoral votes as well as the by winner.
Right.
So it's still 131 to 108. So
the thing that always gets me, the thing that I'm like, ugh, is I see it, and I like, even when it's like Colorado, you'll be like, oh, it's solid blue, dope. Oh, 56% to 41 Biden. This is amazing. 80% report. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
We still got a margin.
Right. We got a little something, so because they're saying even here it's like 299 remaining. So I'm like, okay.
Right.
It just, because between that, the counties, as we were talking about, and the statewide count that they have going here, it's like, oh, come on, let's do it. But these electoral votes, Florida, Trump has 95%. North Carolina, Trump has 94%.
All right, so I'm a little bit confused about what that means because
as far as the electoral votes, yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me because like I'm looking at if you just Google election results, I get this map, I hover my mouse over Florida, 91% reporting, and it's 51% Trump, 48% Biden.
Because now it's 47.8% Biden and 50.6% Trump.
So I'm like, I don't know what New York Times means by that 95% thing. Maybe if they think
well, that was like from the electoral vote, electoral vote. So that wasn't for the direct stream. So that's what I've been checking. I'm like, okay, we still have Arizona, we still have Iowa, and Florida and Georgia. Trump has.
Right, and also, dude, like look at Virginia right now. Virginia, to me, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What do you know?
Yeah, it's a whole lot.
What do you know that I don't?
Right, exactly. Because I'm like, okay, what's the deal?
But why is it called for Democrats when Joe Biden's got 46% of the vote compared to 52? I'm like, I need you to tell me. But then it's like 56% reporting. So it's like, okay, I don't
exactly.
What is happening?
I don't get it. I do not get it.
All right, New Hampshire, get your shit together. Everyone, you're not just the state everyone goes to buy cigarettes. I don't care what they say.
Right, exactly. You're not the only one.
You're there. We need you. We need you.
Like, wow.
Now, I know that, 60 and 58%, 57% is a long way, but I am liking the way Minnesota looks. That I can tell.
Yeah, Minnesota is very promising. Arizona, I love the way Arizona looks. 53.7 for Biden, 45.0 for Trump. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, projected winner for Connecticut, Joe Biden. So I'm like, yeah, loving that. So that it's I'm seeing a whole lot of more blue now. Because if we could just even talk about the voting process and the American people changing and shifting over to Democrat, the far right Republicans voted Democrat this year. So I know that's going to have a major effect. Has to have a major effect.
Yeah,
because there's no more Republican Party. It's just
agreed.
Trump.
I was talking to, when I speak to these people that we speak of that live in South Carolina, I make sure to frame things as derisively and condescendingly as possible to say that that in my opinion the best thing for them would be to elect Joe Biden. That would be the way that they could keep what they have now the most intact, because despite what the Sinclair Media Group and Fox News want you to believe, he doesn't want to significantly change too much about this country, and no politician has displayed a greater willingness to work across the aisle than Joe Biden. But this current administration has pushed what Republican means so far to one side, where you have to be a racist, you have to be rich, you have to be a religious zealot, and you have to be a sexist. And so
they push it to where Republican is just non-existent anymore. It's just like
everybody else.
Everybody
else From the person in New York who wants to be in politics and so has to be a Democrat to the person who is a radical Marxist that doesn't believe that businesses should be privately owned.
Right.
Everything is within the Democratic Party. It's just going to explode. You know, that you can't have what in reality is 75% of the population at odds with a ruling party that's 25% of the population. It just ain't gonna work.
It really won't. It really won't. So I'm like, you know, it's very sad because I've seen so many interviews and panels of the Republican members of the Republican Party just in disarray and disheartened because they're like, we don't even exist anymore. We no longer exist. You know, we've been pushed to the side. It's all about Trump. If you're not for Trump, you're just there wearing red for some reason.
Right.
You know, so it's just very disheartening the way he has been allowed to dismantle the structure of the United States of America.
Right.
You know, because I remember a day when whether you were Democrat or Republican, we still had a respect for each other. We still treated each other as human beings. Even though we may not agree, you know, that's part of being an adult. You don't agree on everything, but you can still come together. There was still some type of camaraderie. Now, total division. There's just nothing. If you're not, you know,
if you don't have the most senators, you're done.
Right, basically. So that's what it is. So it's an unfortunate thing, you know, for that to actually exist now. And I never thought I would have seen that day or this day.
Right.
You know, so that's why I have such an urgency for him to be out of the office. Because I'm like, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there.
To your point, Damien, also, those, the last of the Mohicans, Senator McCain that passed away, was the last arbitrator of reaching across the aisle, where you could agree to disagree, and it was about the American people and that fact. And so once McCain left, the only one that was truly left on the Republican side was Lindsey Graham. And what we've known about Lindsey Graham for years is Lindsey Graham is a go along to get along kind of fella.
Right.
So, and he's always been that, like throughout his whole political career. So for all of the shoulder shit to fall on him in the reaching across the aisle and seeing somebody else's way, because he's naturally weak in the sense of he's not a formidable leader. This is where the problem came, which is probably why he became the chair on the Judiciary Committee, because he can easily be swayed.
Right.
He was very controlled and had backing when he had those other Republicans that thought how he thought. But now he isn't, you know, it's why, like, his interview with Trevor Noah.
Right.
Where he talks about, he was like, my party is screwed. Like, he literally has just been trying to survive. And now he's trying to survive on name recognition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's the truth, you know, because that's what I was saying, you know, even before we came back, I was telling Stephen, I said, it's just so sad that we're in this time, you know, to where there's no respect for the other party. There's no respect for, or any, the word that keeps coming up to me is humanity. There's just no humanity in sight. It's just, you know, if you're not, you know, loving and, you know,
oh no. So Lindsey Graham, they projected Lindsey Graham to keep his seat 56-4, 42-2.
Wow. Yeah, at this hour, the Senate GOP is 42, Democrat is 41.
Yeah. But this goes back to what I was saying about Jamie Harris.
Right.
Raising money means nothing if you're not going to tell us exactly what you're going to do that's different.
Right.
And so bashing Lindsey Graham's record on the sense of an overall country, not just dealing with just your state.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the problem is. 42.2, 56.4, there's a 200,896 different in the vote.
Right. It's crazy. Okay, so now Biden is 118 and Trump is 1. So now, okay, I'm going to look and I'm going to check. So this is what MSNBC was saying. So let's check.
So right now, the New York Times has stayed the same, 131, 108.
Okay. Yeah, it is. So I also, Stephen had me Google election.
There he is.
Yes.
Hey.
Because on Google, it's a little bit more heartening because he's listed at 135.
Yeah, he's at 135 and Trump is still at 108.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing that now. Okay. Now I'm waiting on California to come on up in there.
Well, right. Well, because they're talking about
because we're a blue state anyway. Yeah. So.
Right, but they're saying there's not a lot of poll closings left.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington all closed now.
Right. Exactly.
Now this is interesting. They're saying MSNBC is saying 118, 114, and
right.
New York Times is still saying 131, 108.
Right.
So, so MSNBC is saying 192 to 114,
which emphasizes, y'all take everything with a grain of salt. Yeah. We ain't done counting the votes tonight.
Right, basically
counting the votes
tonight
at all, because the amount and percentile of voting.
I know I said what I said, but then if you're looking at Google, it's not.
Ooh, look at Google. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
yes, sir.
America
excuse me. Does that say 209? Does that say 209 to only 112? Does that say 209? Yeah.
I need it. Jesus.
Early to call. Like, there's so many too early to call states. Like,
right.
Many. Nevada.
And that included California, because first, California, Oregon, and also Washington was still kind of gray, so they hadn't, got their votes in yet. And then also Nevada's still gray, but those three that I named, they're now all blue. Also Colorado, New Mexico, of course, as I mentioned, Illinois, New York, Virginia. Oh boy.
Well, right now, New York Times just called Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, and New Mexico all for Biden.
Right. Exactly.
Where MSNBC, I don't know if they're just trying to go for good television or what, but they're behind.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to check CNN as well, go to their live and see what numbers they have right now. Because yes, New York Times has 205 to 112.
And there's just been a flip in Pennsylvania where Trump is now ahead in Pennsylvania, but not by much.
Right. And CNN, it has 192 to 108. Right. So, yeah.
The old numbers that MSNBC has.
Right. Wow.
This is a lot. Like,
yeah. But Biden is coming so close. I'm like, yeah, he's in that 200 realm. Right. I'm liking that.
They have been saying from the beginning that we're not going to get, like, we're not going to know.
Right.
Right.
Until hopefully tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And still possibly not.
Right.
Because it's why they were really pushing in, which was in Trump's defense was probably really stupid in passing this law where if they did not have ballot in hand by today at closing, that the ballot couldn't count because you push this through to be funny where a whole bunch of mail-in ballots were yours.
You know,
you wanted to make sure.
You know, with Flint being red, something that I think there should be an investigation there because that was one of the places that was targeted with those robocalls.
Right.
If anyone didn't see that
I did.
Right.
I tweeted about that a lot. She was like, where the governor had to literally come on and be like, no.
Right. Exactly. And so also, you know, my friend in Virginia asked Alexa yesterday when election day was. You know, it's Monday. He asked Alexa, when's election day? And said election day is today. You know, this was on a Monday. So like,
right.
You know, which you know, hilariously, some of the aforementioned people we had discussed, when progressives win, it's always because, you know, there's some stuff going on.
Right.
Right.
But then when there's all of this stuff going on, well, you know, Democrats do stuff too. You know, it's just, I'm like, all right, I don't see it. I see the other stuff, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, where's your receipts? Where's your proof?
Huh?
You know,
back to that documentary, I like 537 votes, where they said, Roger Stone said, Democrats always want to do the right things. Republicans just want to win.
Right. That's why
it's just the mindset.
Republicans, that's why they shut down the government, because they know that they'll get what they want. They're just waiting on the Democrats to bend. You know. Also, you know, I got a call it was today maybe or yesterday about just in response to those two rallies that I talked about earlier, the one in the High Line and the one on the bridges, just to make sure that everything was okay.
Right.
And I was told by my mom that she was in the car with her friend. The reason that she said that is because this friend is hella racist. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to change anything about what I say to make your car ride more comfortable. And so she was like,
exactly.
So she was like, you know, her friend was like, apparently it was, Trump supporters trying to do a demonstration, and then anti-Trump people came over and tried to harass him. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. Ain't heard about it, ain't seen it. And if it ain't a bunch of Trump supporters trying to run Biden's bus off the road, I ain't heard anything about it.
Right, exactly.
And that's all I said. I was like, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Like,
and why are you surprised? If y'all running people off the road,
right? I'm like I don't
running the full candidate off the road,
right?
Like not
just that part.
Candidate.
Yeah, the escorts him. Yeah.
That's the thing. I love that shit. It's like you come with guns, with guns, with guns, with guns, and then finally people come with leaf blowers and skateboards and baseball bats, and somehow we want to talk about being equal. You know, fuck off.
The night to the gunfight. That's all it is.
Yeah. All right. Oh, you guys want to hear something fun? This is crazy. This will be the levity that you were promised with Borat that did not arrive. My aunt and uncle, right? They think that, you know, society's really going to collapse, right? So they bought pistols, right? And they think also that, you know, bullets are going to be really scarce. So now they make bullets in their garage. I'm like, who are you? What are you doing, you Jim Baker idiot? Like, who?
That part, like what?
I was like, and I, in case you didn't notice, your Trump supporters, when society collapses, the marauding gangs in the backs of trucks, they're gonna be making sure you're all right. Like, they're not gonna. It's not how it's gonna happen, right?
Wow.
Wow,
that is nuts.
I'm like, you are in South Carolina. It ain't gonna happen.
South Carolina.
Like,
I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. That's nuts.
I also don't get where Nevada's numbers are.
Now they changed it to it being a tight race. May come down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and North Carolina. These are the things that we know. And MSNBC just updated their numbers to 192 to 114. I'm going to still go with New York Times with 209 to 112.
Yeah, to 112.
But it looks like Google.
Yeah, Google has it.
Because I think, I think New York Times has get their stuff from the Associated Press, and so Google is they're not making as many maps, so they don't have as many things to update.
Right.
And without doubt, I know Google wants to be able to take Trump out because his administration is trying to shut them down on the monopoly of the internet.
Wow.
And I'm sure that only came down because Google has been an adamant non-Trump supporter since Black Lives Matter.
True.
They have been adamant. Like, nope, that's not our culture. Not what we're doing.
At all.
Like we were happy being quiet racists. We were happy about it.
And we would like to continue.
We were on the hush.
So, right. Well, because we trying to
too much heat on our backs.
Trying to get all this money. That's all we trying to do. We're trying to get this money.
We need American money, and then we'll secretly do stuff in China to help them locate people. Like,
exactly.
Because sadly, I would not be surprised at all if Google at some point was not involved with the Hillary emails.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna surprise me.
No.
Oh, but dude, nothing you could say could surprise me.
Would not surprise me at all.
Zero things would surprise me. Hillary Clinton's emails mattering in any real way wouldn't actually surprise me either. I'd be like, oh, okay, sure.
Right.
You know, all right.
Well, and they didn't. This is why that was the brilliance of watching the Comey Files kind of documentary thing they had on HBO. Where it was like she did no wrongdoing. And they tried to spin it like she had.
Right. It's like, even with Biden, it's like every investigation that the Trump administration has launched, they come back with nothing every time. But they keep throwing Gate at the end of his name, so it's
I think they keep doing that because what Trump has figured out more than anything, especially with Biden, it is not about prosecuting Biden. is about public opinion. The goal is to change public opinion.
Right.
Just like they did with Hillary Clinton. The thing with Hillary Clinton was it wasn't hard to change public opinion about her because most people thought that about her.
Right. And so and also it wasn't the second time.
Right.
You know, you can't run the playbook twice and for us to, you know, still believe it.
Well, I mean, but not just believe it when you deal with the character of the person. It's like Joe Biden is beloved on both sides of the aisle, has been for over 40 years. So it was even when the Me Too claims came up, those were Republican women that had something to say about, they were the ones that had something to say about the whole, he touched me creepily, weird, whatever, blah, 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 and they needed him to apologize or whatever, because they were trying to disintegrate him because Joe Biden really was the only candidate that could go up against Trump and actually win.
Right.
I think they even knew that then. So this is why it became like this big issue. And then it went away way faster than all of the other cases.
Maine's just flip back over blue.
Well, that's what's up.
Yeah. It's light blue. They haven't called it yet, but he's got a 6-point lead there now.
This is so like,
because if I was in Maine, even if I was an independent voter, if I were in Maine, just watching Susan Collins play the same game over and over again, where she acts like she's gonna stand up
and doesn't,
votes on the party line. I mean, that's got to be a ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
a place like Maine.
Well, without doubt, especially when, you know, Maine was hit really, really hard with COVID, and hit so hard where they got no media attention along with it either.
Right. Yeah.
So it was, it was trying to get pushed off as the common cold instead of what was actually really happening, because they deal with that weather and that whole night all consistently all the time. So it was very underplayed, which is like a whole nother reason for Maine to be like, girl, bye.
I saw.
Oh wait, Iowa's going Biden.
Yeah.
58% in. 58% of the vote is actually in. 51.3 Biden, 46.9 Trump. And Iowa Senate, so far, Teresa Greenfield for Democrats, 50.3 against Joni Ernest at 46.8. But they have been talking about it because Joni Ernest is an incumbent. So they have been talking about, again, I think this could be the same issue that happened in North Carolina with Lindsay and Jamie, where I think name recognition kept his seat because it was very tight for a good while.
And even thankfully with something that was good about John Hickenlooper, even though he was not qualified to run, he was still running for president for a long while. Got his name out there.
Well, I mean, which was like, I think is because at the end of the day, especially with Senate seats, it literally is a name recognition situation. And part of that is because of the women's movement. The women, all these women coming into Senate and coming into Congress have forcibly made you have to become known in other states to be recognized in your state. It's really weird. Where it didn't used to be that way, but now your popularity normally comes from somewhere else, which I think was part of the larger issue with Jamie and his fundraising. I think a lot of the fundraising came from other states. It did not
absolutely 100%. 100%.
Of there. And so that becomes a really large issue, which also was part of the issue, I think, with Mitch McConnell keeping his seat, because she did not reach outside of her state, which she should have. Like, she did not have a real large DNC presence in her campaigning. Because I think the DNC, which they have done many times, made the mistake of saying, it's really not worth investing a lot of money into this particular candidate until it's too late. Because, and this is what Democrats are known for doing, which Republicans don't do that. Republicans don't wait until the election to start grooming the people to vote for somebody. They really don't.
Right.
But we, as Democrats, wait until
it's historically terrible.
We wait till filing time to decide, like, oh, well, who are you? Well, huh?
Always behind.
Now, we're not on the global stage. Like, and the sad part about it is, even with Charlotte, North Carolina, like, Charlotte, North Carolina is an international hub. They have a trading agreement with Spain. So, like, yes, Jamie is a DNC hopeful, because what Jamie knows how to do is raise money. So they will find somewhere for him to be and something to do. But elected office, I think he took Lindsey Graham's record for granted. I really believe that. I've been saying it for months. August. Like, since August, I've been saying it. And then when he was on Joy Reid, and then Graham was on Rachel Maddow last week, and he bragged about not having to, like, I haven't had to change my position or change my message at all, because, and I'm like, you're not reaching out to the voters that are never going to remember your name. And where you're in a misogynistic state. So one, those that don't know you for real, those people that vote but don't really delve into politics, they know Lindsey Graham is the man. I don't know who this Jamie person is. His picture is not next to the ballot. I'm not voting for this woman. That's a misogynist factor, but it's real. There are more Jamies that are recognized as girls than you normally have guys that are. For sure. And so it was literally all these little bitty things that they just overlooked, which sadly in DNC is what we do. It was part of the large issue with the Hillary Clinton campaign. There was so many things we just overlooked within the Democratic Party. They waited too long to start to care.
Yeah.
Because it's still always about, I mean, and sadly, like Roger Stone said, Democrats will do the right thing. Republicans want to win. It happened during the Bush-Gore. We just recently saw it happen again with the Amy Coney Barrett. It's all about winning for them. It's not about governing. It's just about winning. Because the Republicans have had more than an opportunity to truly govern. They have not. If we really think about it. They really have not governed at all.
Been very disheartened. It looks like Charleston has had a really good representative for the past 2 years, and it looks like he's going to lose. He's in a very tight race and may lose to a just nobody.
Trump just got Mississippi. Yeah, I know.
I just blew my hair back with that one. Like, oh,
yeah, like, oh. Who would have thunk it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow. So Pennsylvania, 45% of the vote in has flipped back over to Trump. Like, it's just flip-flopping back and forth over it. Like, and sadly, this is really sad, but I'm more concerned right now about the Senate control than I am about who's going to win for president.
Fair.
Right now.
Yep.
Like,
understandable. But I have to say, right now, I'm giddy about the fact that Biden is so much more closer.
Well, true.
You know, so that's where my hope is. But of course, we want the Senate, of course. I mean, but
yeah, like we don't want Biden to win and have to deal with the same bull that Obama did. It's like, well, now I'm going to spend 8 years not being able to get nothing done because I can't get it through Senate.
I have all these blockades.
Right. Congress has never been the issue. It's always been the Senate.
And people just don't. What blows my mind is just how much people can't see it, or people don't.
Yeah.
How good they are at making people not believe it, making people believe that they're just doing their best to represent the interests of the American people. And it's like, or for 10 years, have you just gotten away with doing nothing?
Right.
Nothing. And I'm like, something that I've started doing to people who are just so brainwashed into thinking like you got to cut taxes because that's somehow like a good thing. I'm like, tell me. So I always am like, at what point do you feel like taxes would be too low? And it's just like, boom. It's like, tell me that now, because I want to know. It's like, what's too low? What do you feel like needs to be paid for with taxes? Because it's like, if you're like, if your answer is 0, it's like, okay, well, don't drive on my roads. Don't send your kids to the schools. Don't do any of that shit. Don't use the police department. Don't use the fire department. Like, don't take out Social Security. I don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like,
I don't know how this farce is able to continue.
But we also have an education problem. Because I really, you know, as I stated earlier, it just baffles me. I'm like, how is it that not only has he been allowed to continue this whole malarkey, as they say, but, you know, to have people that follow him and have the same mindset, and all these people, because as I said, you know, people are being more bold and they're coming out the woodworks and showing who they really are.
Yep.
You know, and that they're not for the American people. They're just for themselves. And I'm like, well, so there's a great divide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that has caused a great divide. So I'm like, this has to stop.
Well, I mean, but that divide really breaks down into classism.
Of course it does.
And it's like, and so, and it wasn't a huge issue of classism until we now started getting so many minorities eligible for classism treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That has been the larger issue. So it's like, well, we got to keep control. We have to somehow control the idea of, because at the end of the day, the United States is framed off of the existence of an invisible monarchy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're set up exactly like Parliament. Like,
right. Okay, now U.S. Senate is at a tie now again.
I'm sorry, one more time?
U.S. Senate is at a tie again.
Yeah, 43-43.
42.
Yeah, but but I mean, it's still right now, all the analysts are saying that the Democrats are going to take control of the Senate. So,
yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I was just about to say fingers crossed, because I'm like, please.
Because I do remember 4 years ago, being at ABC Studios and everybody shocked on their face because no one saw Trump winning.
I couldn't believe it.
No one saw it. No one saw it happen.
I kept asking somebody to pinch me. I'm like, "Are you sure I'm alive? I'm looking at you right now. Okay, you can see me, right? Okay." Mm-hmm. And then the orange man is in office. He's our president now.
Right. I was at a bar in Times Square.
Like 4 years of Halloween.
Leaving because so many buildings and so many billboards would just like light up red, like the Empire State Building lights up red with the name of the state on it, or like blue, etc. Right. It was like leaving the bar and then it's just all red everywhere. It was just so eerie. It was, I was like, this is bad.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and don't get me wrong, I'm not even gonna lie. Watching Dave Chappelle do SNL, I was like, okay, Dave, you gonna give him a shot, I'm gonna give him a shot. It lasted a month. And it was like, here you go.
Right.
Like, here you go with your craziness. Here you go with the craziness. Like, here you go.
I can't.
And it's just systematically gotten worse as the days have gone. And the comment is that
when he first got in there, he was signing and jacking up stuff.
Right. The condom be jacked up the whole time. And he thinks he's doing, like, he really surely believes that he's done an amazing job. He's taking credit for the things that he could take credit for that did not seem so very blatantly black. But anything that was going to help all people to really, especially in the wage gap, he has been on full destruction. It's part of the reason why they have to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, because you can't get rid of the wage gap without the Affordable Care Act gone. You've got to take away the idea that you're going to get help. So that way, all of your income has to go to the entities.
You know, and here's a prime example of just the negative domino effect of him. There's a lot of people that have never paid taxes or had to pay taxes until he got in office.
Yeah.
Literally. You know, so it's just like a jack up from head to toe all the way around. So it's like, you guys, you know, for those that are just, oh yeah, Trump is a man. You know, I was watching an interview when they were interviewing today, the voters. Yeah, I wouldn't see it any other way. You know, he just knows how to talk, and he's not about all that politics stuff. I'm like, well, I thought you had to be in it or know something about it to be in that, especially to be in that office.
Right.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. I don't know.
I mean, I know people who have said that, you know, you just can't deny that his tax cuts were great for the economy. It's like, okay, and what happened to your paycheck this year? Well, I did get a 20% pay cut.
Oh,
like, whoa, really? Okay, and this is pre-pandemic.
Oh.
Like, this is pre-pandemic, so it's like it sounds
exactly.
It sounds like the economy was going to shit.
That part,
and yet somehow you just tell yourself that he's better. That's honestly what it is. Anytime he says something, once he repeats something, be like, okay, that's a lie, and I need to ignore it, because he does that. He'll just repeat, so that people think it's true.
Right. So Florida right now, 94% of the vote in, 51% to Trump, 47.7% to Biden. Senate at this hour race, Democrats 43, Republicans 43. This is just like we're close to the midnight hour.
Yeah.
So, so I can almost guarantee this is going to be a crazy conversation to pick up next year. Like, I can't even.
Yeah, geez.
And hopefully, we have a seat. I mean, like we have an answer. I think the only thing they have an answer about is because they're projecting that the Democrats are going to take 15 more. That 15 more votes are going to go to Democrat for the House, which will make them at 234 to run the House over against the Republican 201.
Right.
So it does feel a bit good to be able to go to bed without an answer, with a little hope.
I was just about to say we have some hope. You know,
right.
that was the hope. That was the whole thing because, 4 years ago, it was just like downhill, and you saw it coming. I'm like, is this really happening? So now we have a little gleam of hope. It's like, okay, Biden's on top. People are still voting blue. Okay. Yeah. And right now it's still holding at 209, to 118. So both on Google as well as on New York Times.
Right.
So
New York Times changed it. So it went 209 Biden, but 118 Trump. They changed the 118.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I said 118 Trump. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we also got that early lead on the West Coast because like it went solid blue when it says 0% reporting. So now it's now it's more like 75-50%.
Right.
Arizona.
They still haven't called Ohio.
Right. They still haven't called Arizona. They got 73% reporting, and Biden has a 9-point lead.
Right.
I'm surprised that they haven't.
Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. This is, because they still have, because, we're still Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina, they still haven't called Georgia.
Right.
And they still haven't called Florida, even though, they have 25% in of their vote. But they still have one large county left that there is still possibility where, even though it's tight. I really would like Biden to get Pennsylvania because that would make it even like so much harder for Trump to even try to make a comeback.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here being like, what are all the votes? Because if Florida got 98% of reporting and they got 11 million votes, I'm like, where are the votes?
Right.
2 million people in Florida. Florida, they spent so much money on you. You better get your ass up there to the polls. God damn it, I tell you.
Better. I'm just saying.
There better be a big old basket of ballots that are just ready to boom. The bales.
Right. All right. Projected winner, Joe Biden, New Hampshire.
Yeah, thank you, New Hampshire, for stepping up. All right, Maine.
Yes.
Just go ahead and call it, baby. Go ahead and call it. You can be good.
Right. You be all right.
You just treat yourself to a lobster dinner.
Like treat yourself to something blue.
76.7 Biden in Philadelphia County, and 22.4% Trump. Yeah. I'm just praying that we wake up to some great news.
Well, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
I'm still kind of with Pennsylvania. I over civilize it. There's some weird ass places in Pennsylvania. You go out there, menu items say beef with noodles, and you're like, oh, this is what this restaurant's gonna be. All right.
Like, that's what you serve? Okay.
Sure enough. I mean, that's what it came as. I was like, you're right to the point.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Oh my God, they've gone all the way back to, like, in Pennsylvania, Lackawanna County, they've gone all the way back to the difference between Obama's 2012 vote to I'm like, it's too many numbers. Like, stop. You're giving me I feel like
focus on one thing. Focus.
Like, I'm starting to feel like Suki on Gilmore Girls doing math. It's like my head's starting to hurt. Like, stop it. You're making my head hurt with all this math. And I like math. It's just too many numbers. I'm starting to really 100% understand why a lot of people get, like, disheartened and confused about this process, because it's too much information.
Right.
It's a whole lot.
At one time that contradicts itself. Like, I'm here for the predictions I get. I'm cool with the predictions, but I'm like, okay, I need there to be, like, some definites. Like, for sure, this is what's going to happen.
Right. I mean, these pollsters want to say, they've been trying to say really hard, you can trust us. You can trust us this go around. We fixed the problem, but it's like,
but that's part of the problem.
Colorado protected winner. I love that name, Hickenlooper.
And even Iowa Senate is flipping back and forth over again, and Maine as well. Which I thought Collins would have gotten booted out just because she hasn't, she's been flip flopping, whatever. Gideon is only 40% of the vote. They only have 24% in, but I don't know. Like, this is I don't know.
Yeah.
Did she vote no on Barrett?
Yes. No.
I think Murkowski voted no. I think there was or something. Yeah, because I think the reason they let her vote no, on promoting Barrett to the Senate for the vote so that she could try to save face for this. Yeah. I thought they were like, you know what? She's making it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, let's try to keep our senators.
Well, because then it came down to this is where I was not mad at MSNBC and CNN after they passed it through, where they had diagrams of all of the senators to have them voted out. And when they voted for her confirmation, they were like, don't get mad, get even.
Right.
And your payment is your vote. Don't give them your vote. Like, vote them out. And so the Republicans have been on this flip turn. It's why he shut down the Senate directly after the vote for us not to have a stimulus, because everybody needed to go do damage control in a huge way.
Yeah.
Because sadly, Mitch McConnell not having the power of the Senate means nothing if he's on the Senate.
What do y'all think is going on with his hand?
I honestly believe that Daniel Cameron got that ass.
He got snatched up
for the fail.
Like, come here.
And now that they related, he can't say nothing. That's what I believe in my heart. I believe that Daniel Cameron said, you got all the black people in my state hating me over some bullshit that you wanted to do.
Exactly.
Off of a promise you couldn't keep, and whoop that ass.
Snatched them straight on.
Straight love country. Love our country down.
Yeah, back. and come up with it.
That's the only thing that makes sense to keep it quiet. Because anything else, Mitch McConnell is not above sympathy.
Right. Like, why wouldn't it be a play for sympathy? You know what I mean?
That beatdown happened like close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a reason. There was a method to that madness. I promise.
Right. I'm saying either it is Daniel Cameron beat that ass, or his mistress dominatrix went a little too hard.
He's been under a lot of stress, you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying because that's a real thing. It's one thing I love about I love about the series Billions. That's the thing I love about it.
Right.
Because it was like you're the attorney general, dude, and you are full on getting beat down by your dominatrix mistress and your wife too.
Wow. I
was like, yeah.
I cannot.
I was like, S&M is real, people. S&M is real.
It is.
It's real.
Very much so.
So I'm like, either Cameron beat that ass, or his mistress beat that ass down. I'm just saying. Like, it's
I need y'all to go ahead and stop tying this here Senate, and I need y'all Democrats to go ahead and do this thing.
Right.
Stop playing.
What? Right. It's
playing with my emotions.
We got one district reporting in Nevada now. It is a rural ass district, so it really count. But it is heavily Trump.
But yeah, I said Nevada is heavy Trump though.
Right.
Yeah.
It's heavy Trump till you get to Las Vegas, and then you kind
of Right. It's like until Las Vegas and Reno report, it's like we don't know.
I said Reno and Las Vegas are split down the middle on who their vote really goes to.
But it's how it goes. I mean, if you click on a state, if a district doesn't have a dot in it telling you about a town, is probably going to be red.
Exactly. 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to call it for us. And we'll just check in with each other. Please keep following us on Instagram and our Facebook page. We will have updates all throughout the rest of this election every hour on what's going on in the decision 2020. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining us all this evening. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Damien. Don't forget to tune in on Monday for a recap of the election on RGB with Damien, Michael Williams, and we will be doing a follow-up election. What's next post-election? Please be safe. Have a post-election plan whenever they decide to tell us who is going to be the president of the United States of America. As I say every week, if you don't love yourself, don't expect nobody else to love you either. And in this moment, love on yourself, because we need the world to go blue.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you guys and good night. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.